buy a beer in the neighborhood. Call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was...
There's a lot of optimism because you're here as a coach. You've been on both sides of it as a player and a coach. As a coach, how much can you impact winning versus the players?
Well, again, I have to continue to teach, develop, and make connections with our guys. And through that, preparing them to win in the situations and getting them to understand that there's different ways to win a football game. There's a lot of ways to lose them, but we want to focus on the ways that we're going to win, and sometimes that's going to be different each and every week with whatever that plan to win is each and every week. And I have to try to do that. I have to get our coaches to do that and get our players to understand that.
And there he is. The number one reason to feel good about where the Patriots are headed. Chris Gasper asking Mike Vrabel, your new head coach, about the difference that a coach can make. And I do think the head coach in football, makes a tremendous difference. That's where we start tonight. On the verge of training camp, football is back, not a moment too soon. The Patriots are back. They will be on the field at 10:15 tomorrow morning. Back on the field, and hopefully a little bit more than just back on the field and present. Hopefully taking a step in the right direction, because it is needed. Did the Phillies just try a straight steal of home? What the hell happened here? They just call fits on a balk? The straight steal of home is the most exciting play in sports. What the hell happened here? I got to see this again. So much Skaz for my opening take. Brought to you by Super Service Today, Massachusetts' #1 provider for residential and commercial plumbing, heating, cooling, and drain cleaning. Day or night, always done right. Visit superservicetoday.com. This is a very Joe Murray-style moment where I get distracted by the flashing thing in front of me. Oh, my God, a straight steal of home? Oh, what could be sexier? Against a righty, too? He's out of the windup. God! Oh, he tried to take home. They call him safer out. So the umpire points to third. Did they call obstruction on this? What the hell is going on? They called pointing. They called obstruction. They called Narvaez for blocking the plate. How about that for fundamentals? They teaching that? Carlos Narvaez having himself one hell of a 24 hours. So they just gave Philadelphia, it looks like, based on this, a run at home plate, and they called Narvaez for obstruction.
Don't catchers usually get a little grace with, guarding the plate, or not so much anymore?
They changed the rules, and they are placing a point of emphasis on putting the knee down before you catch the ball. I'm into it. I love it. Skaz, how can I sit here and talk about Mike Vrabel and the Patriots training camp when I've got a straight steal of home right in my face? Tremendous. I don't even think Nesson knows what the hell's going on. They haven't put the run up. All right, we'll break this down when we have a true breakdown and we know what happened, but here's the way I look at it. Narvaez blocked the plate, it looked like, put his knee down. No, that's not obstruction. They got that wrong. He has plenty of home plate. They got that completely and totally wrong. Now, the runner might be safe, but they should not be calling obstruction on that play. Home plate umpire totally screwed this up. Home plate was not obstructed. All right. There you have it. And it's going to take them 27 minutes to figure this out in Major League Baseball. But that's, oh, man. Stealing on a righty, too, out of the windup. Skaz, that's sexy. I wish we were the Phillies. I want to be the Philadelphia Phillies. The Red Sox falling asleep again, allowing a straight steal of home. The most exciting play in all of sports. Seriously. Can you think of a more exciting play in sports than a straight steal of home? Don't give me that look.
I like a pick six. I think a pick six is always exciting.
It happens all the time, though.
For rarity, I'll give you a straight steal home. I was at the Ellsbury game. That was pretty exciting.
I've never seen one live. I would kill to see one live. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. He was safe. No obstruction there. We'll break it all down for you. I can't take my eyes off the thing. Home plate's wide open. but I think he was safe.
The Red Sox don't play a lot of normal baseball games.
No, they do not. You know why they don't? Because they're terrible fundamentally, and the manager does not care about fundamentals, does not care to hold people accountable, doesn't care to do any of that. Stealing home, baby. Oh, that's awesome. Anyway, hi, it's Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray. I'm glad that happened right as I took the air. Mike Vrabel, huh? Patriots training camp. Pat's back. You know what the best thing about today was until I just watched that straight steal home? Is that it was boring. Nothing happened. Really, nothing happened. There's no real news with the Patriots outside of one good piece of news, which is that Stephon Diggs, it seems like, is ready to go. There is not too much to talk about entering training camp tomorrow. That's a good thing. Head coach goes out there on the verge of training camp night before. No controversies. Sounds like everybody passed their conditioning test for the most part. No holdouts. No bad injury news. No real drama. Nothing. That's it. I mean, guys, frankly, the biggest thing to come out of this thing today was Mike Vrabel taking a steaming dump all over Ben Volin. Can I get that? Give it to me. Why not?
Mike, you called the 5 weeks over the summer. I think one of the most important parts, the most important part of the offseason. Just now the guys are back. I know there's 90 of them, but generally speaking,
91.
91, excuse me, international pathway. How'd they do? How do you feel about having guys came back?
I mean, whether you were in a coma when I answered Tom's question or typing on your phone or tweeting, I don't know, but I spent 5 minutes answering that question. And I can go back through it, but I'd rather not. We won't know. We did pretty good on the linear run test, which they practiced. They know what it was going to be. The big thing will come when they're in line contact. I mean, and you're sitting there, you're wrestling with a guy, and then the D lineman's rushing. He almost gets to the quarterback, but we're telling him to plant and run and go sprint to the football and then go do it again. Or we're asking Kyle Williams to go run a post, and he didn't get the ball, but he wanted to get the ball, but he didn't. Can he run back, get set, know what to do the next play? That's really where we'll see. So I'll be able to answer that question, again, hopefully only once in a few days.
I like your answer better than
Mike,
I thought you were punking me. I'm like,
You gotta love it. What a ball-busting prick Mike Vrabel is. And it goes to show you the guy's personality. It goes to show you what you're going to deal with this year. He called out Volin, which I know a lot of fans are really going to like. But that was the most exciting thing and the biggest thing to come out of today, wasn't it? And in the end, that thing doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's just a little moment between the head coach and a member of the media. But the football stuff, nothing's going on there. Any contract holdouts? Nope. Injury news? I mean, good news on that front. Stephon Diggs seems good to go. Carlton Davis is coming off of non-football injury, it sounds like tomorrow. Any reports of guys showing up fat? Nope. Any reports of nobody showing up? Nope. Any arrests on the verge of training camp? Nope. It feels to me that the Patriots are trending in the right direction, at least organizationally. At least from a culture standpoint. And culture matters. Culture matters in all sports. On day one, Mike Vrabel said he was going to remove entitlement from the organization. And on the eve of camp, I think he gets a passing grade in that so far. I mean, we'll see. It's early on, but as we sit here tonight, good news on that. I mean, it's a small thing, but I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this and I'm saying, well, what's really the story coming out of this? What's the story entering camp? And there wasn't really one outside of the good news on Stephon Diggs, which has been trending in that way, so we kind of already knew that in the first place, but that was more confirmation that it seems like Diggs is on track, and we knew it on Sunday when he wasn't placed on PUP. But it's a really small thing, but when is the last time you could say the Patriots were entering camp without some type of thing hanging over them? Anything stand out to you, Skaz? Like, when was the last time the Patriots went into camp and it was kind of clean? There wasn't something big going on.
I don't know, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, when Tom Brady was still here. even then, it felt like at the end there was always something going on.
Contract drama. That was the last couple of years. You could say coming off the Malcolm Butler Super Bowl, and you had the Bill and the Brady thing, and that was building up. But that doesn't exist. No Bill Belichick drama. No Bill versus Mac. No Mac versus Zappy. No Matt Judon hold-ins. Stephon Gilmore had his, contract situation a few years ago. No questions about who's calling the plays. No quarterback competition this year. What a mess that was last year. Think about where we were a year ago. Gerard Mayo taking over for the first time. No real first-time coaches, and everything that went along with the Gerard Mayo experience, and him, coming out and putting his foot in his mouth, and basically saying that May had won the job, but he wasn't getting the job, and it just wasn't clean. There was nothing clean about it. This was clean today. The biggest thing coming out of it is Mike Vrabel taking a crap all over Ben Volin, which is completely and totally irrelevant. I'm telling you, it's good news. It's a good start. It's a good start for this team. So that's where we'll start tonight. Patriots, opening training camp. And we will clean up what the hell happened in this straight steal home from Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper attempting to steal home. Skaz, I think I just witnessed, apparently, a catcher's block. So we have catcher's interference last night. Because Narvaez goes out in front of the plate, that's a catcher's block. I will get you, Skaz, because you won't get this on the broadcast because Lou doesn't know the rules, as we found out a number of times this year, and the Red Sox certainly don't know the rules. I kept hearing last night that, well, how can it be catcher's interference if the guy's not swinging? Dude, come on. It's not the way the game works. I will get you the rule. I will break down what a catcher's block is for you. Isn't this everything you possibly could have ever wanted, Skaz?
We are an educational program. We look to educate the people, myself included.
I aim to please.
I certainly need it.
Talk to me about catcher's box. Oh, God, that's so hot. Straight steals of home and catchers coming out in front of the plate. Oh, what a sport. What a great sport. How about Ben in Malden, who wants to talk Red Sox? Ben.
Hey, Matt. How you doing? So I want to talk about Alex Cora in particular. So they already lost 2 series in a row now, potentially. And if this happens again towards the end of the season, do you think he'll get fired if they miss the playoffs?
Nope. I think he's safe, and I'll let you go on that. I think they love him. I think he's safe. I don't think there's any... Alex Cora was implicated in a massive cheating scandal, and they still didn't want to get rid of him. So... he's getting paid. He's under contract. Nope, you do not have to worry about that. All right, off and running. Let's get into Stephon Diggs and everything else going on with the Patriots today, which, again, beautifully was not all that much, and the state of this team entering camp, which is good. The state of the organization is good. The state of the operation is good. I don't know about the state of the roster, but the state of the organization, you should feel good about that as a Patriots fan. It's Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray tonight on The Night Show. We're here until 11.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe.
has been cleared for practice, presumably passing the physical. What does it mean for you that he's ready for the start of camp just 8 months after ACL surgery?
Well, I know that everybody heals differently, especially from that type of injury. But I would say that I think it's just a testament to how hard he worked. Marcus Epps also went through that surgery and worked extremely hard, and he's been out there the last couple of days with us as well. So appreciate their efforts to get back out there and get ready, and then we'll continue to monitor as we work through training camp.
Do you still have him on any sort of like pitch count or anything, or is he full go?
Well, I would say I'm going to try to just explain it. When he practices, when he took the rep, it was full go. Everybody every day is going to have a different plan. There'll be some players that aren't out there for individual. There'll be players that are just out there for team. There'll be players that are just taking some specific reps. And my job is to manage that each and every day, but to ensure the football team that everybody's working, whether that's with Frank or Jim's staff or with the coaching staff on the field. So I don't see any limitations right now. Is he going to take every single rep of every single period? No, and I don't think any player will. But I think we're off to a good start and encouraged by what we saw here in the last couple of days.
Again, there's a difference. I think the state of the operation right now is really good for the Pats. Really good. As Kyle Schwarber just hit an absolute nuke off of Dick Fitz. It's 4-0 Phillies. This is a tough watch right now. As Skaz, we might be talking Red Sox earlier tonight than we initially thought. This is an ass-kicking. We've got 2 home runs. Carlos Narvaez was called for, and I don't have confirmation because I don't have the sound on, either catcher's interference or a balk for stepping in front of home plate on a straight steal of home from Bryce Harper, both of which are a violation of the rules. Alex Cora went out to argue the rules because he does not know the rules, and we keep finding this out. The manager of the Red Sox does not know the rules of baseball, which seems problematic. And the Red Sox are getting their asses kicked tonight.
The Red Sox have passed along a supervisor explanation on the play at home plate. I have tossed it in Slack. It is a bunch of words put together. That's about all I'll say about it. It's not good what the Red Sox are doing. No, not good.
So wait a minute. The Red Sox, I'm logging into this thing now here, Skaz. The Red Sox have passed on.
Cotillo posted the Red Sox passed along a supervisor explanation on that play at home plate.
Let's see this. The supervisor explanation. The umpires on the field came to headset to confirm official baseball rule 601G. If, with a runner on third base and trying to score by means of a squeeze play or a steal, the catcher or any other fielder steps on or in front of home base without possession of the ball, he touches the batter or his bat, the pitcher shall be charged with a balk, the batter shall be awarded first base on the interference, and the ball is dead. So not only is it a catcher's balk, it is catcher's interference, because undeniably the umpires got this call right. We all have the freeze frame of it. Narvaez is well in front of home plate on this straight steal of home, but he does not know because they have not been taught that you cannot do that. Not that a straight steal of home happens too often in baseball. It is the most exciting play in sports, if you ask me. I'd be curious to get your thoughts on what you think is the most exciting play in sports at 617-779-0985. But the Red Sox do not know the rules. Cora argued, was told probably to learn the rules, and here we are. The Red Sox have had, on back-to-back nights, 2 catcher's interferences, one in the 10th inning and one in the first inning on a straight steal of home. Only these jackasses can manage to do this. Only these guys. Have you ever seen anything like it? I mean, I'll get back to the Patriots in a second. Have you ever seen anything like these clowns? It's something it's highly entertaining. It's something brand new. Every single freaking night, man. Every single night with these jackasses. They find a new and interesting way to do something stupid, whether it's not knowing infield fly, whether it's not knowing obstruction at second base, and Cora's out there arguing when the runner's 20 feet away in Anaheim, whether it's catcher's interference last night, whether it's leading the league in catcher's interference, and then catcher's interference on the first inning tonight because the Phillies try a straight steal of home, probably because they know you don't know the rules and you're going to screw it up and you're a bad fundamental baseball team. What you're watching is the Phillies, who are more old school, Dave Dombrowski, going out there and taking advantage of how dumb you really are. I can't get over it. Oh, it's tremendous. It's tremendous. You think you're getting this type of breakdown on the Red Sox right now on Nesson or on the broadcast right now? You think you're getting this breakdown of how bad they are at the fundamentals of baseball?
I would imagine not. No.
This is what I'm here for, Skaz. It's what I'm here for. Logan and Burlington on this thing or whatever the hell's going on. Logan.
Hey, I just want to say this whole series, if they get swept, I hope they do because they deserve it. Kyle Schwarber should be batting and playing first base for the Red Sox right now. And the fact that he was let go after he brought us to the ALCS is just a shame. And the Red Sox deserve everything that's coming for them this series. Thank you.
Chaim Bloom's an idiot. Yep, I like that call. Chaim Bloom's an idiot. Never should have let that guy go. How awesome is Schwarber? The swing off in the All-Star game. I mean, just a big, fat-ass softball player who, by the way, was willing to help the team. In 2020, Kyle Schwarber should not be here playing first base. He should be here DHing. But that's neither here nor there. But here is a guy who went out, played a position he had never played before in the playoffs. With an opportunity to embarrass himself, he did cost them.
He butchered one play, right? Was it one or two plays?
He cost them Game 5 of the ALCS. But they put him in an unfair spot. I don't put that on him. I put that on Chaim Bloom.
No, I give him credit for saying yes.
In Game 3 of the ALCS, remember it was Game 3 of the ALDS against the Rays. You might remember, Skaz, he fielded the ground ball and flipped to the pitcher and then took a bow and it tipped his hat to the fans.
Little tip of the cap there.
Tremendous. That's the type of attitude you need. Somebody who doesn't take themselves too seriously, is willing to help the team, and all of that happens on a night where Rafael Devers is playing first base for the Giants.
Just to add to your breakdown, press box announcement. It has been ruled a catcher's interference and a balk.
Yep. No, that is
Matt McCarthy all over it.
The correct ruling. Now, at first I thought they ruled obstruction. They did not rule obstruction. That's on me. I don't have the sound on. I'm looking at the umpire's signals. I'm trying to pick up on it. But it is both a balk and catcher's interference. So Fitz gets charged with the balk, which is interesting. Not really. It's a weird thing. And Narvaez gets charged with catcher's interference, all because Narvaez steps in front of home plate to field the ball, but it's actually a pitch. So that's why it's a balk. The batter runner gets awarded first base, and the runner stealing home is safe. All of it is somewhat irrelevant because Harper was safe anyway, because the Red Sox fell asleep. So yet another way, the Red Sox totally screwed something up. I'm watching the play again. Oh, God, this is great. Baseball's the best sport on planet Earth. It's so weird. It's so freaky. You can't do that, you jackass. What are you doing? Have you ever played baseball before? It's simple. They don't know, though. They don't teach that stuff.
The part that's kind of getting lost in this is, how does Dick Fitz let that happen? How does a right-handed pitcher let that happen? How do you let Bryce Harper, one, not fast, two, not very young. Mm-hmm. How do you let him steal home plate on you in the first inning?
Because you're the Red Sox. I mean, that's the only answer, right, Skaz? You're the Red Sox.
Not a good fundamental baseball team.
So Carlos Narvaez, who gets caught for creeping too close to home plate last night, says, I'm going to one-up you. Forget creeping close to home plate. I'm going to move in front of home plate. Only these guys. Only these guys. Matt in Rhode Island. Hey, Matt.
Hey, McCarthy. I just heard the caller before me. I thought I was going to be original. But I can tell you that, I don't know if he gave you the number. That's 100, by my math, 164 home runs since they traded for him. God, why would you trade for him? I mean, I think 4 years, $79 million is exorbitant for a guy for 179 home runs. But I don't think that was catcher interference as well. But this game looks like it's heading that way.
Why do you not think it's catcher's interference, Matt?
Oh, because there was part of the plate. He wasn't covering the whole plate.
There was room for Harper to get in there. That's not the rule.
Well, I know it's not the rule, but I think the rule needs to be evaluated. I think last night the rule needs to be evaluated too. I mean, I'm not making excuses like the relief pitcher did, but the guy clearly wasn't swinging at that pitch last night. He was playing a game, like catcher interference game. The catcher interference calls are way up, and that's what he did there. They're going to lose the game anyway, but I'm just saying both those calls are suspect.
No, they're not, Matt. You agreed to play by these rules. These rules, the rules of baseball have been the same for 150 years, since Abner Doubleday was running around the fields of Cooperstown, all right? What you don't understand, you're arguing that home plate is open on this straight steal of home. That has nothing to do with it. The catcher is not allowed to move his body in front of home plate to catch the ball. Because then, you have to keep in mind, it's a pitch. You're not making a play at the plate. It's a pitch. The pitch needs to happen. So by going in front of home plate, the ball has not reached home plate. That's why the rule exists. So the ball is dead, the batter runner gets first base, and the runner stealing home gets home. Because the catcher or any other fielder cannot move in front of home plate and prevent the ball from getting to home plate, because you need to call whether it's a strike or a ball. What is it? Is it a strike or a ball? It has not reached home plate. The ball never reaches home plate. You couldn't be more wrong about that. There's a reason why this rule exists, and it's a good rule. And also complaining about last night that, the batter didn't fully swing, which is the same crap that Lou pulled on the broadcast, and it's the same crap that the Red Sox pulled after the game. How about you just keep your glove where it is and not get hit by the bat? But, we need to change the catcher's interference rule now? Come on. You are making excuses. You're completely and totally making excuses. And on that note, let's hit the sports hub headlines. Guys, were you fully expecting a segment-long breakdown of what a catcher's balk and a catcher's interference is?
After last night, I should have been more prepared than I was. Should have expected it.
The caller should have been more prepared. The rules are right here. Just read the rules. It's not that hard. We all can go online and read official baseball rule. What is it? I'm sorry. 601H. Yep, 601G. If, with a runner on third base trying to score by means of a squeeze play or a steal, the catcher or any other fielder steps on or in front of home base without possession of the ball, the pitcher shall be charged with a balk, the batter shall be awarded first base on the interference, and the ball is dead. Very simple. We signed up to play under these rules. Don't complain about them now. Nope. And there's a reason why it exists, and it's a good reason. So guys, tell me, was it a strike or a ball?
I have no idea.
You have no idea because the ball never reached home plate, so it can't be either.
Exactly.
Which is against the rules. Now,
not allowed.
When we play baseball, the ball crosses home plate, right? That is the object. And if it does not cross home plate, if it is wide of home plate, it is below or above the strike zone, then it is a ball. If it crosses home plate inside the strike zone, then it is a strike. But what if it never crosses home plate? We do need a rule for that. And the Red Sox don't know those rules. And apparently that caller didn't either. Nothing offends me more than somebody not knowing the rules. It's not that hard. We all can read the rule book. We all agreed to play by them. Let's just read the rules. It's not that hard. Very simple. But not for the Red Sox. We continue. It's McCarthy and for Joe Murray. Hi.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox now trailing the Phillies.
to know?
I mean, I think every meeting we try to have a message and we try to not waste their time. I found that consistency usually is the best, and sometimes that gets redundant for some guys, but things you emphasize are usually the things that you get and the things that you make important. So try not to give them a ton of stuff, but certainly things that I think that are going to be important. For example, training camp, I think our objectives that we're going to talk to them about and have talked to them about is it's time to build a team. We have to start coming together as a football team, and the groups that we're going to use and the special teams unit and the different personnel groupings on offense and on defense, and that all has to come together, and that has to happen. The other thing is they have to earn a role, and that's a great time for them to personally earn a role through training camp, is what they can do for the team, how they can help us, how they can help themselves. And there's a lot of different levels to what those roles are. And in my 14-year career, I've had plenty of them, from special teams, multiple position backup, to starter, a starter that was expected to be productive, to a veteran leader. So there's multiple levels of what that role will be, and it's up to them to earn it. And then obviously we have to prepare to win. And that will be, my job as we work through training camp to make sure that we're doing all those three things.
Patriots. And it's early on. We haven't even started training camp, so what is there really to judge that by? Started with the Patriots, and I think you're seeing small signs that it is coming together and it is working a little bit. Because if we're talking about setting a tone, I think Vrabel set the tone on day one when he said, we are going to remove entitlement from the organization, which is a quote that has been referenced for months now. Day one. First press conference, we're removing entitlement from the organization. And that has been talked about, when they got rid of some former captains and guys who were Belichick guys and guys who were Mayo guys and holdovers, and they began removing entitlement from the organization. And where I think this manifests itself and where it starts to show up is the little things on the verge of camp that make a difference. I don't know if this team is going to collapse under pressure. I don't know if they're good enough. Frankly, I don't think they're good enough. I don't think the roster is good enough. But I look at where they are entering training camp. They have no holdouts, no reporting on guys showing up fat, no reporting on guys not showing up, no reporting on issues going on in the organization. I mean, really, what the one thing that happened to the Patriots this offseason that you could say was a little distraction or a little something was the Stephon Diggs thing. And that was happening at OTAs and, mini camp, and Diggs isn't there, and he's on a boat, and he's doing pink cocaine, and he's handing out drugs to gals in bikinis and stuff like that. And Vrabel came right out, addressed it, and here we are on the verge of camp, and it seems like Diggs is good to go. It seems like he's on board. Not on board the boat, but on board this boat, and he's ready to go. So that was a small little thing that didn't turn into something bigger. That's the sign of a quality operation. And does that mean they're going to win 10 football games? No, it doesn't. But are they in better shape from an organizational standpoint entering this year than they have been in years past? I think that is undeniable. Compare the control and the just overall level of confidence that you feel about Mike Vrabel at the helm of things compared to Gerard Mayo. I mean, it's not even close. Not even close. What are the camp storylines? I don't know. I mean, the camp storyline is the team good enough? Do they have enough talent? That's a way better storyline organizationally than, well, who's calling your plays? We did that 3 years ago. Camp storyline is way better than a quarterback controversy last summer where you have a rookie quarterback who everybody wants to get the job but isn't repping with the ones. He comes out, has a good night against Washington, in the preseason, and Gerard Mayo comes out and basically said he's won the job, but we're not giving him the job. Then he has a weird 90-second press conference to announce that Jacoby Brissett's his starting quarterback, even though he had just said a few days before that Drake May had outperformed him. And he doesn't really want to answer to that thing, and it like comes out of nowhere, and it's just, the thing was a mess. It was a mess. No Matt Judon hold-ins, no Stephon Gilmore hold-ins, no Bill Belichick drama, no Belichick refusing to call his quarterback by his first name. We don't even have a Drake May versus Joe Milton thing. Not that that would have been a story, but I mean, go back to 2 years ago. You go down there and, Joe Murray says Bailey Zappi looks good and I think this is a quarterback competition, and everybody gets sensitive to that. You're not going to have that this year. Not even something as silly as that thing. Is that in fairness?
How about something even sillier? When last year, when we had to listen to Bedard tell us that Josh Dobbs was really good, that he had a better day than Drake May. Or that was this year. I'm sorry, that was earlier this year.
But we're not going to have to deal with that. And if he says that, that's fine. And if that happens, that's fine. But it's not going to be a story. Now, that would have been a story with Bailey Zappi coming off of the Mac Jones year and Zappi fever. So you had that whole thing going on. And even though it wasn't really a quarterback competition, there was a segment of the fan base and a segment of the media that was going to be happy to point out when Zappi had a better day. Is anybody really going to be like... It's going to happen. Josh Dobbs might have a better day than Drake May. It's training camp. It's, rough things are going to happen, and you're going to say, the twos were better than the ones today. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to shrug it off, and you're not going to pay attention to it. We're not going to be able to legitimately sit here and be like, well, Josh Dobbs versus Drake May. Like, are you kidding me? They don't even have something as dumb and as inconsequential as that, Skaz. It's a great point.
And I couldn't be happier because I do not want to do that again. I'd like to have a football season this year. I was hoping we were going to have, a baseball season, deep into August, maybe even September. Not sure that's going to happen, but I need a football season. I need them to at least play competent football.
I'm not convinced they're going to play competent football because I don't know if they're talented enough to play competent football. But if they don't play competent football, I don't think it will be because of the operation. And when was the last time you were able to say that? Because let's call a spade, Skaz. The final few years of Bill Belichick, they were not a good operation. Bill had lost his fastball. He was more focused on his 20-year-old girlfriend in the stands, as we now know from Pablo Torre, and his excellent, Pulitzer Prize-winning reporting, if you ask me. That is real capital J journalism. The Woodward and Bernstein of our time, Pablo Torre getting down to the bottom of... Bill Belichick, Jordan being in the crowd, Winthrop Airbnbs, and you name it. We're not going to have to deal with that this year. Bill's operation wasn't good. Gerard Mayo's operation was a joke. A joke. Vrabel? It's going to be buttoned up. I don't know if they're good enough. I don't think they're good enough, but that's a start. I saw the other day the Patriots have $60 million in cap space. They seem to lead the NFL in cap space every year now. Not that I think we all understand that cap space can be maneuvered in a number of different ways. That was before Bill Belichick lost his fastball and lost his mind and lost whatever the hell was going on there. But the roster isn't good enough. We know that. But the organization and the operation and the coaching staff, say what you will about Josh McDaniels, and I know a lot of people have strong opinions about Josh McDaniels, but he belongs in the NFL. He's an offensive coordinator. Vrabel, say what you will about him. Maybe you're not as big a fan of him as me, but he's had success as a head coach in the NFL. McDaniels has had success as a play caller in the NFL. What a difference that is from the stuff you were dealing with a year ago. That is refreshing. And I look forward to being able to break down how they look on the field in camp. And my guess is we're going to have some stories about how the offensive line doesn't look good enough and about how the offense is struggling and about how the defense is ahead of the offense. I'm guessing we're going to get those stories because we've had those stories for a number of years now. And that all has to do with the fact that the defense is ahead of the offense. The defense is better than the offense. The defense is more talented than the offense. But I don't know if we're going to be talking about the offense not being able to get lined up correctly, I think we're going to be talking about how they aren't good enough. And to eliminate that element is big. That is a step in the right direction. Because for the last few years, we have had to have a debate about, well, yeah, the talent isn't good enough, but man, the operation isn't good enough too. It feels to me that they've fixed that operation thing, or at least they're trending in the right direction on that. Now we can talk about how, well, they kind of suck and they aren't a good football team. But hey, that's refreshing. At least they'll get the play clock right this year. I think they'll be able to do that. There won't be as many dumb delay of games. They'll be able to get lined up correct. So what a start. What a start. Good vibes, if you ask me. Coming out of Vrabel day one, training camp day one tomorrow. I do want to talk about Josh McDaniels and some of the footage coming out of this Forged in Foxborough story. Mike Kadlick is going to join us at 8:20 tonight. So we got plenty to get to with the Patriots. We'll get into anything you want. 617-779-0985. It's Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray tonight.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray. On the way on
Red Sox underway with the Phillies tonight in Philadelphia, and it is not going well. They're trailing 4-1 as we head to the fifth inning. Kyle Schwarber has homered. Max Kepler has homered. Rob Refsnyder's also homered for the Red Sox off of Christopher Sanchez. We had a catcher's balk and catcher's interference on a straight steal of home by Bryce Harper, an attempted straight steal of home in the first inning that proved once again the Red Sox don't know the rules. Elsewhere, Patriots getting ready for training camp. It opens up tomorrow. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs given the all-clear to practice with his teammates. Mike Vrabel also noting that Carlton Davis and Jelani Tavai should be available tomorrow after being placed on the PUP and non-football injury list. Patriots also announcing they'll be wearing their old Pat Patriot throwback uniforms, the red uniforms, in Week 3 against the Steelers and Week 13 at home against the Giants. Terry McLaurin failed to report to training camp today. Contract issues there. Same for Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati amid his ongoing contract stalemate with the team. Rams quarterback Matt Stafford will not be practicing to start training camp. He has back soreness. And the Celtics said to be one of the teams reportedly interested in Ben Simmons, along with the Knicks and Phoenix Suns. Headlines are brought to you by Celsius Energy Drinks. Refresh your energy with zero sugar, essential vitamins, and proven ingredients. I'm Matt McCarthy on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update in 30 minutes.
Pat's training camp is coming, and we'll be there to bring you every drill, every scrimmage and preseason game as the Pats get ready for a new season of football. On your home for all things Patriots, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You know, sometimes I'm pulling into work and I got to pinch myself, and you know, I got to remind myself I get to go work with Josh McDaniels and Mike Vrabel. You know, it really goes back a long time. My mom and dad both went to John Carroll. And growing up, my mom and dad had always showed me and talked about all these guys that were coaching in the NFL that went to their school and they were proud of, became a fan of theirs. You know, then I really admired, you know, Coach McDaniels and all the work that he had done.
As you're running the O route, you know, you get to the top of the route, you know what I mean? You can see both directions because you may break either way. You know what I'm saying? Okay?
And Josh was always great at exposing what our strengths were to the guys, to their attributes.
Play wide. 66, hits you off.
Two receivers stacked to the left. Amendola along with Brock. Now Edelman motions out to left. Quick throw for Julian, setting up the screen. He's going to look to throw downfield. Amendola wide open. Makes the catch at the 18 in stride. He's gone. Touchdown. Patriots.
Yep. Hey, and then fake it out. Yep. Create good habits. That's good. Okay. Boom.
You know, in my past that we had studied, you know, a lot of the history offensively, you know, what's going on here in New England. Obviously, Josh was a big part of it.
Keep running hard, keep backing the ball, okay?
The playbook is just so much more detailed and more structured. So many details to go into it and to think about, especially as a center. And it's a great privilege to have.
Like some behind the scenes, you like practice footage, stuff like that. There's something there for you. And I thought there were a couple good moments for the Patriots here in this production, this episode. In particular, I thought the stuff with Morgan Moses was really good, kind of showing the impact that he's having with young offensive linemen. How, you know, he's a veteran guy, and there's some good stuff there, no doubt. But I think undeniably the story coming out of this, and it's Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray tonight, is this episode really felt like the reintroduction of Josh McDaniels to the fan base for the Patriots. Call it a reintroduction, call it an image rehabilitation.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
It is a reestablishment piece, I think, in the fairest of terms, Gaz. A reestablishment piece. Some would call it a rehabilitation piece for Josh McDaniels. And I think it's really interesting that they're presenting him in this light. I was on yesterday with Felger and Maz. Felger's all fired up that they had some guy from John Carroll, another assistant coach from John Carroll, who's talking about how great it was to go to John Carroll, and Josh McDaniels is a legend at John Carroll. John Carroll. I don't care about the John Carroll thing. I think it's whatever. I care about the McDaniels part of it. And how fans feel about McDaniels. And I think Josh McDaniels is sellable to the vast majority of Patriots fans. Here's a guy who was the offensive coordinator under Tom Brady, and we're going back to that thing. And that's good. We can have an agreement or a disagreement. We can have a discussion about whether it's actually good that the Patriots are going back there. But I think the vast majority of fans are happy with that. I think the vast majority of fans like the idea of Josh McDaniels being back because he's comfortable, you know him, you like him, and all of that. I think fans are sold on that. Not all fans, which is why they need to rehabilitate the image a little bit in a team piece of production. But I think there's a large contingent of Patriots fans who are totally on board with the idea of Josh McDaniels being back because he is comfortable, he is a known commodity, and it gives you good feelings of the glory days. Are you one of those people, Skaz?
No, I hate it.
You're not.
Yeah, I hate it. But yeah, I'm with you. I think it's nostalgia. It's remember when Tom Brady was here? Remember when we were winning all those Super Bowls and Josh McDaniels was getting very little credit for it, rightfully so, but now we're going to give him a lot of credit in retrospect because we need you people to believe in him.
He called the 2014 double pass to Edelman, didn't you know? We're going to remind that to you. Yes, I mean, there was a real nostalgia push in this piece. It is, the vast majority of it is, hey, here's the Patriots Hall of Fame, and remember all these great players and these great guys, and yes, there is that. But again, I think that's sellable to the fans, Skaz. It's sellable. What are they going to sell you on? A football team that won 4 games last year? Or are they going to sell you on the fact that we're wearing sort of the same jerseys that we wore when we were actually good at football?
Yeah, I think the best thing Josh McDaniels has going for him is that he's not Matt Patricia.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Joe Judge.
Yep.
He's not Alex Van Pelt. And his head coach is not Gerard Mayo. Patriots fans are very happy that Josh McDaniels is none of those things. I still think the jury is very much out on Josh McDaniels without Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I think that's a very important disclaimer there that people tend to give him credit for Mac Jones. We're going to give Mike Vrabel the credit for Drake May. Bill Belichick should deserve the credit for Mac Jones, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm a skeptic of Josh McDaniels, but you cannot argue that he is not a better offensive coordinator with a better, supporting cast around him, head coach around him, than what they've had the previous few years.
And that's the only thing I care about. Like, whether or not you think he was the best hire. And there's a reason to say that he's not the best hire, Skaz. I actually probably am more on your side of the street on that one. In the end, though, I don't care. I don't care. He is an NFL quality offensive coordinator. Can we agree on that?
Absolutely.
And whether you hate Josh McDaniels, and there's I think a small contingent, maybe growing contingent, of Patriots fans who don't feel good about the Josh McDaniels thing, you do have to acknowledge that even in spite of his failures, and spectacular failures as a head coach, he's been an NFL offensive coordinator for 20 years. He's qualified enough for the job, whether you're a fan or not. This is not an embarrassment to have Josh McDaniels as your offensive coordinator, which is why, Skaz, this is the most overblown story of training camp, bar none. Everybody, we're going to make such a big deal of Josh McDaniels and the scheme and the offense, and can he get the most out of Drake May? And should they have hired Thomas Brown? Should they have hired, the assistant to the assistant quarterbacks coach in the Sean McVay system in Los Angeles? Like, why didn't they hire a young 23-year-old kid who draws the coolest plays in Madden? I don't care about your effing scheme, you nerds. I don't care about it. He draws the sexiest spider Y banana too. Who gives a crap about spider Y banana 2 or whatever the F play you want? But look, he put 4 guys on this side of the line. Look at the scheme. Look at how he schemed them up. I don't freaking care about the scheme. I would care about the scheme if this team were contending for Super Bowls. That I would care about. For a team that has a ceiling to me of like 9 wins, It doesn't matter whether you have the world's best, most brilliant, genius, most cutting-edge offensive coordinator is reinventing the game. Oh, didn't you see how the Chiefs did the ring around the rosy play? Like, screw off with your ring around the rosy play. I don't care. Oh, well, look at that. I mean, he put that guy in the slot there and he sent him in motion, and then he schemed him up open on that guy because you got the safety coming down and you got the mic going this way and they don't know what to do. And all of a sudden, we got this mismatch on the defensive lineman and we schemed it out. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? The only thing that matters is whether your quarterback can play and whether you have a competent enough coach that's not going to get in the way and it's not going to screw it up. Like, yeah, Matt Patricia is not competent enough. He's going to screw it up. I would actually argue in the last 2 years that you've had offensive coordinators who may be unimpressive and uninspiring, but are actually qualified to work with quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, do you like Bill O'Brien, Skaz? Do you really like him? I know he's considered very suspect on this show, but do you like him?
Not really, but I understand that there are worse. He's not Matt Patricia or Joe Judge.
He's fine.
He's fine.
I know Alex Van Pelt was public enemy number 1 in this town last year. Oh, it's Alex Van Pelt. Well, he's never called plays before. Boy, that 3rd and 2 play really sucked. He's an idiot. Had he coached quarterbacks for 20 years or not? Yes or no?
Yes, I actually was, I don't want to say a defender, but I thought AVP got a little bit of a bad rap last year.
Way too much bad. Way too much bad. He had nothing to work with. It doesn't matter. And yes, his scheme sucked. Like, he was no innovator. He was no offensive genius. Could he work with a quarterback on their footwork? Yes or no? The answer is yes.
Yes.
That's what you need for a young quarterback. Josh McDaniels has coached quarterbacks for 20 years. We can argue about how successful he's been with or without Tom Brady, and those are valid discussions. But in the end, it does not matter because the only thing that matters is whether Drake May can play. And Josh's scheme might be too complicated for Drake May. Well, maybe I just don't want my quarterback to be a dumbass, huh? Like, just be smart enough to pick up an offense. And if you can't pick up the offense, maybe you really aren't the guy. We put too much on the OC in this town. We've done it for years. You people have gotten Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, Bill O'Brien, and Alex Van Pelt all fired. And now you've got McDaniels back. And if the offense fails this year, you'll want him fired too. And you might get him fired this year because Vrabel wanted Thomas Brown and the Crafts wanted Josh McDaniels, and he's an easy fall guy. And in the end, the quarterback is going to escape any level of blame because you're just going to sit here and you're going to blame the offensive coordinator. Just let's put something on the quarterback, please. If Drake May can play, Josh McDaniels is going to look good. If Drake May sucks, Josh McDaniels is going to look bad. And in the end, Josh McDaniels is going to have only a small amount to do with that. Drake May is going to have more to do with that than anything else, and I think it's the most overblown story coming into camp. But your thoughts, 617-779-0985. I see on the line, hang tight. We got Mike Kadlick coming up to talk Pats. We got Pats for much of the night here on the program. It's McCarthy in for Joe.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray.
Camp and all things Pats. Let's go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline from CLNS Sports Illustrated. Mike Kadlick. What's going on tonight, Kadlick? How you been?
I'm good, McCarthy. How are you? Thanks for having me. It's tis the season. Football season is unofficially here. Excited to get after it.
You and Alex Barth and all the true football nerds. I mean, this must be like the night before Christmas. I mean, how many sleds are you going to get to watch fat guys push around in the summer heat in Foxborough? I know that gets you guys all hot and bothered. Are you excited?
It's going to be unbelievable. This is, like you said, it feels like Christmas Eve. It's, you get back into it. You get a nice little sunburn on the forehead. You get to, feels like the first day of school. Today really felt like the first day of school being back, kind of like a syllabus day. Mm-hmm. All your beat reporters get back together and, listen to Mike Vrabel, have some fun with some other reporters. But, it was a good time down there. And, like I said, it's football season, so can't be much happier.
Outside of Vrabel crapping on Ben Volen, what was your number one takeaway from today's press conference?
I think it has to be the Stephon Diggs angle. Not just that he's been cleared to practice, which, in its own right is, pretty remarkable recovery after, being out, only, for the second half of last season and being able to get out there. Vrabel spoke after that video came out and was kind of like, we need people to make good decisions. And today he comes out and was really high on Stephon Diggs and called it, him being cleared a testament to how hard he's worked, that he doesn't see any limitations with him, and that, they're looking forward to get him out there. And, they'll pace him just like they will with anybody. But even Hunter Henry spoke about Diggs being, with them down in North Carolina at that workout that kind of went viral a couple weeks ago, and how he was there being a leader and can be in the room to help the young guys. And Christian Gonzalez said the same exact thing, Christian Gonzalez, when you listen to him speak, he doesn't have many words to say, but today, when asked about Stephon Diggs, he kind of went on a little, diatribe on how fun it's going to be to go up against him and that he can learn from him being a pro in the league, and that he's also going to be able to help the young guys in that wide receiver room that, myself, I've obviously been pretty skeptical about some of the young cats from last year, and then even Kyle Williams this year, people seem high on, but there's been sort of a snake bittenness to that Patriots draft room, as we know, with the wide receivers especially. But, on Diggs, I just feel like that's the big takeaway from today, is that he's healthy, he's ready to go, and, seemingly has his head on straight ahead of this year.
Do you think he's ready to go for week one? What's your sense on that? I mean, it kind of feels like we're trending in that direction, right, Mike?
Yeah, I do. I feel like, given that he's not on, on the PUP list, and that they're not really going to set him up to potentially miss some games. Where, if he was on you can be on PUP to start camp and then come off at any time. It just sort of limits your practice reps and kind of how they want to manipulate the roster that way. But at that point, once he's out starting week one, if he's on PUP, he's out for the season, they have to activate him. There's a bunch of roster nonsense. Long story short is the fact that he's not on the list right now tells me that they're going to probably take it slow, but that they feel like he's going to be ready to go to start week one, which, again, it's crazy given that he tore his ACL in October last year, had the surgery, and at age 31 now is going to be able to come back is impressive. Now, Kendrick Bourne we saw a couple years ago come back after – he tore his at the end of October. He did start on PUP. He missed 4 games, came back, and was pretty slow in that first year back. But given that, Diggs is going to start potentially be in week one, I feel like it'll be a slow burn. They may not give him 100% of the reps, but I do think his presence and the fact that he's not on the list is notable, in that he'll at least have a shot to get, a decent amount of playing time once the season starts.
Mike Kadlick from CLNS and Sports Illustrated joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. The injury news outside of Diggs feels good to me, Kadlick. I mean, I was a little interested in Carlton Davis ending up on NFI the other day. Sounds like he's coming off of that. Tavai coming off of PUP. I mean, it feels to me like the Pats are reasonably healthy heading into camp. I mean, there aren't. It's hard to look around and find many storylines of saying, well, this guy's missing, this guy's conditioning doesn't feel good. For a head coach who said he wanted to remove entitlement from the organization, it feels like they're at least hitting the ground running heading into camp, for whatever that's worth. Is that a wrong assessment?
No, not at all. And I heard Barth today with the midday guys over on this station say that the drama is that there is no drama, and it kind of feels like the Patriots are just hitting the ground running, and that there's no. I mean, for what Gerard Mayo was last year, it didn't work out. He was a bad head football coach. It was a mistake. They should have never made it happen. And there was a lot of miscommunications in practice, and it kind of just for lack of a better term, the inmates were running the assignment at some point. Now there's actually a consistent head coach who's done it before. There is an assistant coaching staff who has done it before in Josh McDaniels and Terrell Williams, who is also back this after being out, sick or whatever it was throughout the offseason program. He's back now healthy. It just feels like, yes, they're healthy. Feels like Mike Vrabel has these guys ready and prepared. Brendan Schooler today said that, I thought this was kind of funny that, Vrabel, they're not scared of Vrabel, but they're not, they know that he's not going to take any crap, for lack of a better term, where if you mess around, you're going to get reprimanded. If you don't live up to your expectations, you're going to get cut. And there is a sense of accountability, is what Hunter Henry said as well. So, it really feels like they've quickly turned a corner from what last season is. As you mentioned, they're healthy. They're top guys in Tavai, who, when we were there in May when he went down, it was your classic come up lame on your ankle. The entire team circles around you. They take a while to get you off the field. It felt like he had a little Jason Tatum injury going on there, and he looks like he's going to be back out there tomorrow, which is promising. Carlton Davis, you mentioned it as well. Him and Gonzalez can hopefully pair up as a decent 1-2 cornerback tandem. So, there's not – frankly, it doesn't seem like there's much, nitty-gritty nonsense to talk about. Really, it's the big things. Is the quarterback going to be ready? And can he and Josh McDaniels get on the same page? And, frankly, can Josh do it without Tom Brady? I know that's been a lot of, talk around town. I'm a Josh McDaniels guy. But, it's everything's pretty much status quo for a team that's been kind of up and down the last couple of years.
So what is your read on that? The May-McDaniels relationship, how do you feel it went in the offseason? How do you feel on the eve of training camp right now?
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday on our podcast, myself and Taylor Kyles over at CLNS, where Drake May is essentially, he's a rookie in this system, right? He's going into year 2, but he's essentially a rookie in what Josh McDaniels wants to do and how he wants to run an offense and how the line calls are going to go. It's put more on the quarterback's shoulders versus it was on the center's shoulders last year, so he's going to have a little bit more responsibility. He'll likely have some responsibility to change the plays and audible, this, that, and the other thing. And the thing that the last time Josh McDaniels was here, what was so impressive about the quarterback was that Mac Jones was able to pick that up so fast as a rookie, beat out Cam Newton as a rookie. And for what Mac Jones was physically, at least as a rookie, he was a pretty cerebral player and was able to quickly understand what they wanted to do offensively. Now, Drake May has to do that essentially as a rookie. Throughout the offseason program, Matt, I think it was a little up and down, and he was a little bit shaky. The accuracy issues that we saw early on in camp last year that he was able to fix with his fundamentals, we saw that early on. But then he sort of started to dial in, and I think in his own words said that he was sort of hitting a stride once the spring ended. So the other thing with McDaniels I thought was interesting in the offseason program was that he kind of, for what it's worth, was kind of standing off to the side and sat there with his headset on, called the plays into Drake's ear, and kind of just let him do the rest and let Mike Vrabel run the offense as well, which I feel like he's going to have a little bit more of a role than we think or understand, and we'll see what happens starting tomorrow. But it was really Josh was the play caller, Vrabel was running the drills, and Drake was doing his thing at quarterback. So we know he's talented. We know he's gifted. I wrote a piece for Sports Illustrated that went up today. It was 32 questions for 32 teams, and the question for the Patriots is Drake May what we think he is? Because every time we say it, it's they have the head coach and they have the quarterback now. And I'm high on Drake May, but we still need to see more. A lot more than what we saw last year, going what was essentially 1-9 in his starts. In regards to the Vrabel McDaniels handling of Drake May, how much of that do you think is by design? From what I'm gathering from you, Kadlick, and we saw a little bit of this in Forged in Foxborough too. That's Vrabel taking a really hands-on approach with Drake May. Is it? We all understand. I think we know that maybe Josh McDaniels wasn't Vrabel's first pick. We have reporting out there that suggests he might have preferred Thomas Brown as offensive coordinator.
how much of that thing should we be looking out for in camp, like the pure involvement of somebody like McDaniels and somebody like Vrabel when it comes to May?
Yeah, it's a good point, and I think it's everything they're going to do around Drake May is calculated and it's intentional, right? And from the beginning, in Mike Vrabel's introductory press conference, he mentioned how he wants to be hands-on with Drake May and in his ear and be able to teach him things like game management and, when to, I don't know if it was specifically when to use timeouts, but he mentioned the fact that he wants to be able to have the quarterback understand, frankly, everything Mike Vrabel understands. And that's what Vrabel was. So one of the things he was so good at in Tennessee was kind of being the Belichick light, where he messed with them with the clock and the intentional snaps or whatever, whatever that was in the playoff game. Right. And so I think there is going to be a calculated plan for Josh. Maybe you call the plays, you understand the offense, and he's obviously going to be critical and, hands-on as well. But I do think that Mike Vrabel, especially with what he did in Cleveland last year and sort of doing a crash course in offense, mixed with them bringing in Cleveland's quarterbacks coach last year as their quarterbacks coach this year, and Ashton Grant, there's clearly a way that Vrabel wants to do this. And I think Josh is going to be answering to him, and that's how it should be. And we know that McDaniels wasn't always, obviously wasn't the best. He was an awful head coach when he had nobody that he had to answer to. It was his show, and it failed miserably. So I think, for lack of a better term, he's going to be put in check by Vrabel. They're going to work in tandem with May, but I do think that Vrabel's expertise is going to be sort of all over Drake May this year. And I think that is a good thing, because what we've seen from Vrabel as a head coach, for better or for worse, has been pretty good.
Mike Kadlick from CLNS Media joining us, also Sports Illustrated, on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Who are some players you're really looking forward to watching here in camp? Maybe some guys we haven't spent as much time talking about. Yeah, I do think I mentioned Kyle Williams earlier. I'm excited to see how a rookie can come in and, frankly, be better than what we saw from Jalen Polk and Javon Baker last year, because we did put them on kind of a high pedestal. I mean, Jalen Polk was a second-round pick last year. Kyle Williams a third-round pick this year. You would think that one of the two should be able to work out and break out. So it's Kyle Williams, would you, based on their history, Mike? Would you think that? No, based on the history, you wouldn't think that. Based on what the draft capital that was spent on them is what you'd think that. It's a good point, and I think I wonder how much impact and how much change there was in the front office this offseason. I don't know for sure, but clearly Vrabel had a little bit more of a hand in it than Gerard Mayo had in the last year, and I don't know if that is good or bad either. We'll have to see what happens. But long story short, I do think Kyle Williams is one to watch. I also do think Jalen Polk is one to watch, Matt. As bad as he was last year, maybe I'm taking the cheese again, like myself and some other people did with a guy like Tyquan Thornton a couple years ago, where every year it feels like, okay, maybe he's going to hit his stride. The way he was as a player in college at Washington, the way he came in and quickly, people forget the first couple weeks of training camp last year, Jalen Polk was pretty good, and then obviously fell off a cliff, was not essentially non-playable down the stretch. I wonder if he can flip a script, new system, new head coach, new vibes, for lack of a better word. I keep saying that, but he's one I'm going to be watching as well. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I think Robert Spillane is a fun one to watch. I know that's not necessarily under the radar, but someone who comes in. Joanne Bentley, is out of the picture. Jelana Tavai is now there still, but sort of the 1-2 punch with him as the linebackers. Spillane is someone who the Titans brought in under Vrabel, kind of made a name for himself. Obviously, was with Vegas, and now comes in and gets the center in the middle of the defense gets paid for it as well. So I'm excited to see how he can kind of fly around and command the middle of the defense. So. Those are a couple guys. Christian Gonzalez is always a fun one. And then Isaiah Bolden, too. He's one of my sneaky guys in the cornerback room who, I've always been a fan of, but he's someone who, when he played at Jackson State, he was a seventh-round pick, a couple years ago, was one of the best kick returners in college football history. The Patriots have yet to really use him in that role. I'm curious to see those kind of niche special teams thing. I know Alex Barth will have
his punter clock up and ready to go. I won't go that far, but I'd like to see if they can utilize a guy like Isaiah Bolden, as a kick returner as well.
Mike, did you make anything or read into it all Vrabel mentioning Kyle Williams by name today? Very much in passing, but talking about, setting tone, about player conditioning and all that, saying, well, hey, can Kyle Williams, run a post and then get back into the huddle at the time?
Right.
Was interesting that he specifically mentioned him, and it was very innocuous, but I did make a little note of that. Did you make a note of that?
I did, actually. My ears perked up a little bit, and I don't know exactly why it would be. It's one of those interesting things where, these coaches, and as much as Vrabel wants to say himself that he's not a part of the Bill Belichick coaching tree, he learned a lot about coaching from Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick, as annoying and as snarky and as insane sometimes as a at the podium guy as he was, everything he said was always calculated, and a lot of the things he said ended up being true. And so everything he said, you parse through it word for word. You figure out, why did he say this? What's the purpose? And we lost that last year with Gerard Mayo because he went off the rails so many times with calling the team soft and backtracking on the quarterback decision, where it's like, okay, let's not dive into and read into just about every single thing he does. And now we're kind of back to a guy who knows what he's doing with the media. And so, yeah, I did think the Williams mention was interesting. I wonder if that's him calling him out by name, putting a little bit more on his plate, understanding that, maybe there was a play in minicamp where, closed off OTAs where he didn't get back to the ball as fast as he wanted to. You call him out in the media, he understands, hey, we got to get back on track with something like this. The other thing I noticed with Vrabel today was it was a classic Bill Belichick tactic. When talking about Stephon Diggs' ACL tear, he did not and would not just talk about one single player. He's talking about coming back from ACLs. He goes, and the safety Marcus Epps came back and came back from an ACL tear last year pretty well too, and so he's doing his thing too. So he didn't want to give too much credit to Diggs as much as I said it earlier, but there's definitely that inner Belichick in him, and I did think that him mentioning Williams is noteworthy. And that's another reason why I'm excited to kind of see what he can do on the field and if they can finally buck the trend of drafting busts at wide receiver.
All right, Mike Kadlick, good stuff. Much appreciate you coming on, giving us an update ahead of training camp, which opens up tomorrow. Get your rest. I know it's the busy season for you, and have a good summer covering this team, Mike, all right?
Appreciate it, McCarthy. Thanks for having me. Let me ask you real quick. Wheels or doors? What's your answer to that question?
There are definitely more wheels on planet Earth than doors, but the best part about that, Kadlick, Barth asking Felger and Maz that question, is the exact type of question that Alex Barth would have asked us on a drunken night in college that ends with all of us yelling at him and telling him to go F himself at the end of a debate. So it was a beautiful moment for me. Nobody else can appreciate how much I love that question from Barth.
I love it. That was good stuff. It had the guys going, too. So I think I'm Team Wheels, too, so not much to argue about here. But, yeah, thanks for having me, McCarthy, and we'll talk soon. Appreciate you.
All right, good to talk to you. Mike Kadlick joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. What do you got there, Skaz?
McCarthy, I'm 100% Team Wheels. It's not even close, in my opinion. But if you go to Google now and type in more wheels or doors, the first thing that comes up, at least for me, maybe this...
Yes.
It is the video of Maz and Felger and Barth yelling at each other about this. That's all I typed into Google was more wheels or doors, and boom, 98.5 The Sports Hub YouTube, and just a video of Maz yelling about how dumb they are comes right up. I think that's tremendous.
It's the most Alex Barth thing I've ever experienced in my life. And Skaz, again, I know the audience can't truly appreciate it because I've known him since he was 18 years old. That is everything that kid has always been and then some. The only thing we could have had that would have made that moment even more Barthy than it was Barth is if we had some reference to the CFL or Division III football or the United States Spring Football League, Extreme Football League, whatever. Awful spring football. Tremendous. Are you in on Wheels? I think we're in on Wheels, right?
It's Wheels, and I don't think it's particularly close.
Are you in on Doors?
Sure.
A little overrated, Doors.
Overrated.
Out on Doors?
Sure, why not?
In on Wheels, out on Doors. I guess you should be in on both, but if I had to only be in on one, it's the wheel. It's the greatest invention we've ever had. It's fire and wheel.
Yeah, I'm a big fire guy.
Who doesn't love fire?
Big fire guy.
Fire's good.
Yeah, one that gets left out too a lot for me is air conditioning. Respect air conditioning.
In on air conditioning.
Give it some respect.
Could never live without it. I would die. Thank God my guys at 128 hooked me up. My heat pump, my dual fuel heat pump furnace, great in the winter. The cooling the house like you wouldn't believe this year, Skaz. Which leads us to in or out. It comes your way next on the Joe Show. McCarthy in for Joe.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox trailing the
gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is
July 19th.
That was 3 days ago.
Well, there you go. He was
I
there.
missed it.
He's going to be at the Big E Fair September 22nd and the 23rd.
All right, I'm in on that. Maybe go out to the Big E. But you know what the best part about this is, guys? Is it's just some rich guy doing a rich guy thing. What does Hank Azaria have to do anymore? I mean, he's still getting that Simpsons money. Who is watching The Simpsons in season 36? And The Simpsons is my favorite TV show of all time. But who's doing that? So here's just some dude who has the easiest job on earth. He records probably Simpsons episodes from his basement in his home studio. And he's like, well, what am I going to do? Well, I really like Bruce Springsteen, so why don't I just go out there and form a Bruce Springsteen tribute band and travel the country just because I'm rich and I have nothing else to do. So in on that. This is the best rich guy move of all time. Oh, I'm not a rock star, but I want to pretend to be one. In. Good for him.
My only real out on this one is it's Hank Azaria in the Easy Street Band. Kind of out on it. I feel like you could have done a little more there. But McCarthy, you're an aspiring musician.
Yeah, it's true.
You ever see yourself in a Springsteen cover band one day?
I'm not good enough to do it. Although I have been practicing Jungle Land the last few nights. The Jungle Land solo. That solo is sneaky awesome. So maybe someday, if Hank Azaria wants me to get up there, I've got my brand new Butterscotch Blonde Telecaster, which is Springsteen's guitar. The thing is amazing. So if Hank wants me to come up and play with him and rip the Jungle Land solo, I can make that happen. So long as I'm not playing sax for it. In on that.
All right, McCarthy. We don't often repeat in or outs, but I did ask Mark Dondero this question last night. But you're a baseball guy. I would feel wrong if I didn't ask you this. The 2025 MLB Speedway Classic is coming up on August 2nd. The MLB will be playing a game at Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. Matt McCarthy, are you in or out on the MLB Speedway Classic?
I couldn't be more out on this. This is the dumbest idea of all time. You go from Field of Dreams, which was an incredible television event, and I want them to go back there. They did a few years out there, and that thing was awesome. The players coming out of the cornfield. They did Rickwood Field last year in Alabama, which is where Willie Mays made his debut. And that was cool because Fox then took the broadcast back to 1954. So that was a cool experience. Going to some NASCAR track and playing a baseball game, there are good gimmicks and there are bad gimmicks, and this is an extraordinarily dumb gimmick. Out on that. I have no interest in watching this game.
What about the pregame entertainment leading into the MLB Speedway Classic?
No.
Would you like to guess?
Oh God, it's got to be some horrible country act like Blake Shelton.
You're very close.
Like the worst of the world. Oh God, Luke Bryan.
Close, a little older.
Well, it has to be older because it's. Oh my God, is it George Strait?
It is Tim McGraw, and not a country star. It is Mr. Worldwide. It is Tim McGraw and Pitbull for an unforgettable pregame concert. Matt McCarthy, what would I have to pay you to attend Tim McGraw and Pitbull?
$1.3 million in cash. $1.3 million. Pitbull. And nothing would make me want to light myself on fire more than that particular combination right there. That's almost the worst of the worst. I mean, it would have to be like a Morgan Wallen hack or Luke Bryan, that hack, or Blake Shelton, like that type of garbage. Tim McGraw is a step down from that, but you throw Pitbull into that thing too. Not to mention, Skaz, you need to go to Bristol effing Virginia / Tennessee. I have driven through that part of Virginia and Tennessee, and most of the 81 stretch through Virginia is beautiful. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere. God, no. Never, ever. This is the worst take of all time. So out. So effing out on that. I can't even... I don't even know if I can answer any other in or outs because I've never been so out on something. It is so bad.
Yeah, not great. Not great from MLB there. Sticking with the MLB theme, though, old friend Rafael Devers is playing first base for the San Francisco Giants tonight. Matt McCarthy, are you in or out on caring about Rafael Devers playing first base?
Oh, you should definitely care. And it's a great story. he wouldn't play it here. Now he's playing it there. It's a major story. Automatic in on this. As out as I am on the Bristol Motor Speedway, Luke Shelton, Tim McGraw, Pitbull baseball game crap, I'm in on this. Amazing. Yes. I'll talk about this for days on end. What a prick that guy is. What a crybaby fat ass petulant child. Of course he's playing first base in San Francisco just to stick it to you. Oh, it's not that you asked. It's the way you asked. Cry me a river. In.
All right, Matt McCarthy. Wouldn't be a Joe Murray show in or out without at least a couple food questions. The new season of Stranger Things. Somehow coming out, I don't know, what feels like 20 years after the first season.
They're still making Stranger Things?
Yeah, I think it's finally over. But yeah, it took them a very long time for a very short 5 seasons. But Matt McCarthy, Stranger Things is getting a Chips Ahoy collaboration. The cookie features a chocolate base, fudge chips in a red strawberry flavored filling. Matt McCarthy, are you in or out on strawberry filling in a Chips Ahoy?
Why would we ruin the beauty of the Chips Ahoy with strawberry? And I like strawberry. I do. It's a good fruit. We need less strawberry in desserts. Strawberry shortcake, out. Chocolate covered strawberries are fine, but they're more of a delicacy. Like strawberry filling? Do we really need that? Just give me the Chips Ahoy! I just want the chewy Chips Ahoy, which are perfection. I ask for nothing. Just let it be. Just let it be. Let the beauty of the Chip Ahoy be what it is. Out.
I'm with you on that one. Sticking with not food, but a snack-ish product. Liquid Death, the water company, has released a Fruity Pebbles cereal milk flavored sparkling water. Yes, I will repeat that once again. Yes, Liquid Death, the water company, has released a Fruity Pebbles cereal milk-flavored sparkling water. So it is a sparkling water that tastes like the milk at the bottom of a Fruity Pebbles bowl. Matt McCarthy, are you in or out?
So it's sparkling water. I'm not really a sparkling water guy, but I'm in on this concept. And I'm not even really like a milk guy. I like milk on my cereal, but I'm not like the type of person who then drinks the milk out of the bowl. That's kind of weird. It's not really for me. But Fruity Pebbles milk at the bottom of that thing, so good. Give me Trix with this as well. There's something about Fruity Pebbles and Trix milk. Perfection. Chef's kiss. In on this idea. I want to see it implemented elsewhere. In on that.
Matt McCarthy, Rich Hill is taking the mound tonight.
In.
I have a little Rich Hill trivia for you. Would you like it here or would you like to save it?
Let's save it. We're up against it. I do not want to Joe Murray the clock. Let's do some Rich Hill trivia a little bit later on. I do want to get into the big news that happened today and the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. And a question for you, and a question for Skaz, Trey back there as well. Greatest frontmen in the history of music. I'm not a metalhead. I'm not even really a Black Sabbath guy. How can you not put Ozzy? has homered. Rob Refsnyder homering for the Red Sox. Bryce Harper attempted a straight steal of home earlier tonight. Catcher's interference. There was also a balk on the pitch. It was something. We'll get into that later on. Mike Vrabel says Carlton Davis and Jelani Tavai will be at practice tomorrow. Both started the season on the PUP NFI list. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs appears to be all clear to practice with his teammates on the eve of training camp. Washington receiver Terry McLaurin did not report to Washington today. Frustrations over contract negotiations. Same for Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. He did not report as well. Matt Stafford will not practice at the start of camp due to back soreness. Headlines are brought to you by Catches a Lot. Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit catcheslaw.com. I'm Matt McCarthy on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update, 30 minutes.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
Greatest frontmen in the history of music, right? Across all genres, he's kind of what you think as a frontman. Crazy rock and roll, heavy metal, drugs, alcohol, you name it. I mean, just insane crap. Insane crap. He's what you think of. He's like the epitome. You look in the dictionary for music frontman, Ozzy's kind of right there, right?
He's got to be, at worst, top 5. He's right there. Mount Rushmore, one of the first guys you think of. Maybe the first reality TV star as well. Yep. Like, guy did it all. Was around forever and lived 100 lifetimes in the 76 years he was here.
It's amazing he made it to 76, man. I mean, let's call it what it is. The drugs, the eating of bats, the drinking, the booze, the everything. The New York Times, I heard Maz reading his New York Times obituary earlier today. Tremendous. Talking about the drugs that dude did. But you're right, Skaz. He's top 5. Top 5 frontman of all time. We've done a little of this recently, like best American rock bands of all time or best American musical acts of all time with the passing of Brian Wilson. Best classic rock bands of all time. Whatever you want to do on that. But in regards to best frontmen, see, that's a different story than best band of all time. I would never, ever put Black Sabbath as in the top 4 of the greatest bands of all time. In their genre, yes. For metal, I mean, their influence, they are the Beatles of metal. But I would never personally, and it's just, again, not a metalhead, I would never put them there top 4, top 5, whatever that thing is. But for frontmen, he's there, man. He's there. So who else is there? If we're going to do a top 5, frontmen, Skaz, or women.
Yeah, I think Mick Jagger's there for sure.
Mick Jagger, undeniably.
Mention women. I think Stevie Nicks is up there.
So I wouldn't put Stevie in there because there were 3 frontmen and women in Fleetwood Mac. And I know she was the biggest of all of them, but Christine was better. Come on. Christine was better.
Different debate. Robert Plant.
Okay, so I think if we're having a debate about the greatest frontman of all time, who's the best member of Led Zeppelin? It's not Robert Plant, right? It's Jimmy Page. I think to be in the conversation of best frontmen of all time, you also need to be truly the face of the band. Like if you ask somebody, if you said Led Zeppelin, what's the first thing somebody says? Are they going to say Robert Plant or are they going to say Jimmy Page?
I'm going to say Plant. That's probably unpopular, but I'm a voice guy. I think the voice really matters when it comes to frontmen. Give me Robert Plant's maybe, iconic voices of all time.
And I love Robert Plant, but I think the average person, Skaz, would say Jimmy Page. So I don't know if I'd put Robert Plant in my top 5 simply because is he even in the top 1 of his band? I do think you need to consider that thing. Now, Ozzy's had incredible, incredible guitar players throughout his career. And Murray was speaking to that earlier today. He certainly can speak to that better than me. But in the end, that thing was Ozzy. So it's Ozzy. As great and as iconic as Keith Richards is, I'd still say Mick Jagger is the Rolling Stones. So I think Jagger can be on our list.
There's just also something about the way he moves, the way he talks. Everything about him is a front man.
Yep. Kurt Cobain. Top 5 front man of all time?
I would say no, but that's just me. That's my opinion.
I think I'd put him up. I think if we're talking about iconic, I mean, Dave Grohl was his drummer, but even Kurt Cobain is even bigger than Dave Grohl, and Dave Grohl is one of the biggest rock stars of the last 30 years. I might put Kurt Cobain on that list if we're talking about top frontmen.
Freddie Mercury?
Freddie Mercury is probably on the list. Freddie Mercury was Queen. Now, like, again, if we were to extend this, I mean, if we were to extend this to the Beatles, I mean, Lennon was, I guess, the frontman of the Beatles, but you also have McCartney and Harrison. That's more of a, I would call that a super group, even though they weren't. But like, I can't pick one of them because it's the same thing with Fleetwood Mac. All right, well, that's a Lennon song. That's a McCartney song. Here Comes the Sun is a George Harrison song. Same way with Fleetwood Mac. It's like, well, Go Your Own Way is Lindsey Buckingham, and Landslide is Stevie Nicks, and Pretty Little Lies is Christine, and Songbird, and you run down the list. It's like, well, this is this person's song, that's that person's song. So I think the frontman thing you kind of can't do with that band. I don't know if you can do it with the Beatles. Steven Tyler, I'm not an Aerosmith guy, but that's a frontman.
Absolutely,
that's a frontman.
Can't argue with that.
Steven Tyler is Aerosmith. Like, is Joe Perry really like a great? I mean, he's a good guitar player. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, some people aren't going to like this one. Top 5. I put Springsteen as a top 5 frontman of all time. Why are you shaking your head back there?
Because he's not.
Why not?
Because I've seen too much of him. He doesn't. You're not going to like this take at all, but to me, Bruce does not have what Mick Jagger has or what Robert Plant has or what these other guys have. And they're going to tell me he does 4-hour shows and all that. Fine. That's great. It's just there's a certain thing frontmen have.
Are we talking live performances that you're saying like frontmen have?
No. I know Bruce is a great performer, 4 hours. He's 70 years old, all that. I get it. But to me, Bruce is almost like too polished, too like I don't know, maybe it's his audience that I'm holding against him. Like it's that baseball crowd where I'm like, I don't know, you're sitting in a lawn chair. Like I don't know. There's something about a frontman where there's a little more chaos there. There's a little more, destruction.
You've never been to a Springsteen show though.
No.
So that's he's 75, so he's not doing knee slides anymore.
No, I respect Bruce. I don't want the baseball people coming after me. But I don't have him in the same pantheon as Mick or Plant or those other guys. Ozzy, for example.
It's a one-word thing though. Like you say Bruce, what do you think?
Gradkowski? No, Springsteen. Yeah, Springsteen for sure. No, Bruce deserves all the respect in the top 10. Sure, I don't know if I could put him top 5. I think there's like Freddie Mercury. I just think there's a different thing. You hate it.
I'm telling you, you're underestimating the frontman thing of Springsteen. You are.
Someone calls him the Jimmy Buffett of rock. Is that offensive?
That person obviously knows nothing about that. What? Because you're thinking about him in his 70s.
I do think that's part of it.
Right, exactly. But anybody out there, just watch footage of the man in his 40s, his 50s. In his 60s, he was doing knee slides across the stage. He literally threw his junk into the camera at the Super Bowl. Like, that's because he was knee sliding across the stage. Like, he doesn't do that at 70 because his knees are shot. The 50-year thing, too, like that, I'm sorry. I give him some credit for that. I see on the phone line, 617-779-0985. What do we have in the chat here? Axl Rose. Frontman for sure. But again, if we're gonna go under that you have to be the biggest member of your band to be considered for this list. Who's bigger in Guns N' Roses? Is it Axl Rose or is it Slash?
I'm not the guy to ask, but to me, Slash is more famous.
Agreed. But taking nothing away from Axl Rose as a frontman, but I think that is the criteria that I have established here. If we're doing top 5 frontmen of all time, you need to be the biggest member of your band.
Like David Byrne is easily the biggest member of the Talking Heads, but he's probably not a top 5 frontman.
No.
He's top 15 maybe.
Yeah.
Like Bono, is Bono a frontman?
So
I'm not a U2 guy.
Yeah, I'd say Bono's up there, but I would make the argument. I would make the argument that The Edge is more U2. Like U2 is the sound. It's the sound of Edge, the guitar, the effects, and Bono is Bono, right? And he's a rock star and all that, and he has that thing going for him, but I would not put him on this list because I would say he's not the biggest member of his own band. The Edge is bigger than Bono.
Would you give it to Daltrey?
More influence. I'd say the same thing about Daltrey, and I love Daltrey. But, like, is it Daltrey or is it Pete Townsend? And Daltrey is awesome. He's awesome. The Who are great. They're coming this summer, right?
That sounds right, but I'm not sure.
I saw them a few years ago, and Daltrey he blew me away how good he was. But, man, Daltrey's a good friend, man. He's a really good effing front man. We might need to make a Daltrey exception. We're going to call it the Daltrey rule. 617-779-0985. We continue. It's McCarthy in for Joe.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening.
Not to crap on it.
I was going to say,
on the night the man dies.
It feels like a tough day for this. It doesn't jump out to, like, there are other songs I think that I think are more overplayed.
Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, that's up there for sure.
If we're talking about like arena rock,
I think Mr. Brightside is wildly overplayed at this point. It's kind of lost its luster to me.
not a bad take. And I like the Killers, and I like Mr. Brightside. Who doesn't? Especially if you're my age. I mean, that's the song's a banger. But I agree. It works at Fenway though, but they're playing it everywhere now. It's a little, but it's just a song that people sing along to. But you're right, Skaz. I wonder if Mr. Brightside is going to become the song of this era that just gets played forever at sporting events. And it's like, do we really need to hear "Welcome to the Jungle" one more time?
Yeah, like I'm good if I don't hear Hotel California again. I've heard that enough in my lifetime, I think.
Good song, overplayed.
Yep. Don't Stop Believin'. I've heard it.
Good song, overplayed.
Yeah. You can take Sweet Caroline. I'm good. No, thank you.
Out.
My feelings on that song very well established at this point.
Is anybody in on Sweet Caroline? I mean, 35,000 people every night at Fenway Park. I get it, but like, are you really in on it? That I'm not convinced about. I'm not. You just do it because you're sheep. Bah. Bah. Anthony in the car. Anthony!
Hey, gents, how's it going?
What's up, Anthony?
Hey, speaking of overplayed in the hard rock heavy metal genre, I would throw Enter Sandman into there. I don't even think that's the best song on the album.
Agreed. Yep.
But here's my take, because my friends and I have had chats just like this, obviously, throughout our years. And I just want to throw in the best frontman of all time frequently gets overlooked because we're focusing in on the classic rock era. Remember, rock and roll was born in the 50s, and there are all sorts of branches and all sorts of streets and lanes you can go down.
Sure.
The greatest frontman of all time, and I would argue by a wide margin, is one Mr. James Brown.
So, Anthony, you're totally right about that. I think we're talking about this in the context of bands, and James Brown was a performer. Like, it was James Brown. But no, you're totally right. James Brown is like the greatest frontman-ish performer thing of all time. Spot on about that. But I guess in the sake of this discussion, it more has to do with bands, not solo acts. Because this goes off into a place that's like, well, is, Madonna a front woman? Is Taylor Swift a front, like, pop act? Prince, yes. But you're going to see Prince. I'm talking about we're separating out from the band. You're going to see a rock band, and this guy is the front man to it. Which I guess you could argue would disqualify my guy Springsteen, because it's like, I'm going to see Springsteen. Now, 90% of the time you're going to see Springsteen and the E Street Band, and the E Street Band are very close to his equals. I mean, for Christ's sake, Silvio Dante is his lead guitar player. Max Weinberg's a star of late-night television. He's his drummer. Clarence Clemens is the greatest saxophone player in the history of rock and roll. And Roy Bittan is one of the greatest pianists in the history of rock and roll. Springsteen, Seeger, Meatloaf. Like, that's a career right there for that dude. So I'd say he's in on that, but you could make the argument. It's like, well, McCarthy, you're going to see Springsteen. That's like going to see James Brown. So I get that. I hear what you're saying on that. How about Tom? What's up, Tom?
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, it's Jeff. Sorry.
Hi, Jeff.
I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in for Jerry Garcia. 30 years ago, he passed away, and he's still considered one of the frontmen of the Grateful Dead, and they sold out stadium after stadium without pretty much selling any records.
Out.
Yeah, I mean, I even like the Dead. I like John Mayer a lot as well. I would not put Jerry in that category.
I don't know what to say to it. Yeah, I mean, no. And that's nothing against the Dead for what they are and who they are, but I don't think it applies to this discussion. Sorry. How about Jake in Boston? Jake!
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing, Jake?
You guys forget a huge one because his name was in the band, but Jimi Hendrix.
The Jimi Hendrix Experience. See, again, I think I think that applies to the James Brown thing, right? It's like, I'm going to see Hendrix. You could say the same thing, like, yeah, I'm going to see Clapton. Well, yeah, I mean, but it's
not a good front man, Clapton.
Did you see Clapton?
Maybe my dad. I saw some weird shows and I saw Dickie Betts and a couple people one time at it was a Red Rocks adjacent concert in California that I was dragged to. So there's a chance I saw him, but Clapton just other than being a terrible human being, just a very boring, solemn, sulking individual. Not a front man.
You're not going to go feel uplifted by the man. It's not. You're not going to walk out of there on a high.
Certainly not. Maybe high, but not on a high.
I don't have your name, but I know you're on the line. So if you heard the beep, who are you? Hi.
Hi, this is Tom calling.
Hi, Tom. What do you want to say?
And
Tom?
so I have a front man who maybe not the most famous member of the band, although at one time he was, but I think he definitely fulfills the requirements, and that is David Lee Roth.
We can't have it if you are only half the band, right? I mean, are you David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar? Like, which Van Halen do you automatically disqualifying? Not to mention, too, again, I feel like the only criteria I have asked in the greatest frontman discussion is that you undeniably be the band. Like, you are the number one guy. Eddie Van Halen is Van Halen. It's not David Lee Roth. It's not Sammy Hagar. It's Eddie Van Halen. You do not qualify for my list. Out! I also don't have your name, but if you heard the buzz, you're on the air. Hello.
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 Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm calling about the front men.
Yeah.
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins or Peter Gabriel. Again, people, if you can't definitively say that this person is the star of the band, out. Does not qualify. Out.
I'm getting some Ann Wilson heart. Ann Wilson star. She is heart to me.
Ann Wilson or Nancy Wilson, though?
I'm an Ann guy.
Again, you know what I'm realizing, Skaz, is it's actually very hard. And a lot of these people are undeniably incredible and stars in their own right and great musicians. But it's very hard to find of these great bands. It goes to show you how you need more than one person, because you could make the argument that, well, this person in the band was more important than the singer, or this guitarist was more important, or whatever that thing is.
Alice Cooper.
Okay. Definitely frontman.
That fits your criteria.
Fits the criteria, but then all of a sudden, you know what, I'm realizing this is a very narrow criteria. Because if we're getting into the Alice Coopers of the world, is that a top 5 frontman of all time?
No. But he's frontman. I'm just trying to find the criteria at this point.
Now we've just gone to name a frontman?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
I mean, really good. Name a guy. 617-779-0985. Peter in Plymouth. Peter.
Hey, guys. I'm having trouble making these guys top 5, but they're definitely in the upper echelon. Both of them headlined multiple bands. Scott Weiland for Stone Temple Pilots and Velvet Revolver. Chris Cornell for Temple of Dogs. Audio Slave and Soundgarden.
Both great frontmen in their own right. But again, if we're talking about multiple bands, shouldn't that be disqualifying from this list? What do we have so far? So we have Ozzy, undeniably. Like Ozzy, great frontman. Although I guess you could say he had Black Sabbath and then he had Ozzy. But I think there's a difference between being, having your career with the band and then having your solo stuff. Like Springsteen has that. He has Springsteen with the E Street Band, and then he has, 5, 6, 7 albums in his career where it's solo stuff and there's some really good stuff. So you can separate the two, I guess. We've got Ozzy on the list. We've got Mick Jagger on the list. Freddie Mercury, definitely top 5 frontman of all time. I'm not a huge Queen fan, but how can you deny it? I'd still say Kurt Cobain. You have to throw him in there. I know you disagreed with that, Skaz. I'm putting Springsteen in the top 5. I think that's a controversial take. But this is a harder exercise than I thought. I'm telling you, the Daltrey exception, it kind of has to be there. I'm going to make the Daltrey exception. I want to put him in my top 5. I do. Jason in Derry. Let's see if I can get you potted up here, Jason. Hold on one second. Jason.
Daltrey is absolutely in the top 5. He's way over Ozzy. He's way over Freddie Mercury. You guys mentioned Jim Morrison yet?
I'm sorry, you cut out. You said Jim Morrison? Yeah.
Yeah, you guys mentioned Morrison. I know it's a local guy, probably not top 5. But Peter Wolf or Jay Giles?
Yeah, no, once we start talking Peter Wolf, we've jumped the shark. Part of me might want to push away from this, Skaz. I agree. I mean, Daltrey's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
Put him far and away above those other guys, though, and then throw in Jay Giles. That really does. I wouldn't say that strengthens your argument there. For me personally.
Accept the message, not the messenger. I think basically the message on Daltrey was good. Then we lost the messenger once he started going down the Peter Wolf. And I like Peter Wolf. I saw Peter Wolf open for Tom Petty. See, now Tom Petty we haven't mentioned and I love Petty. I love Petty. One of my favorite acts. Like honestly, after Springsteen, like Petty might be my number 2. Just not like a huge frontman presence. The guy was a genius, and he just made great songs. Like I saw Petty twice live, and he just kind of got up there and he played the songs, and it's like, hey, thank you. Here's this next one. Thank you. And it was awesome because it was 2 hours of the Heartbreakers just kicking ass, and that's the tightest band I've ever heard live. 2010, Mansfield, Great Woods, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the best sounding band I ever heard live. But I don't know if I'd put him and like that front man thing, just because the dynamic stage presence. I'd say Springsteen and Petty are contemporaries and like the songwriting and all of that, but like Springsteen's stage presence blows Petty's out of the water. 2 completely different type of shows, though. Completely different. And both incredible in their own right. All right, 617-779-0985. Why don't I sneak this one in? Nick in the car. Nick.
Hey, just first of all, you had mentioned that there were songs that you never needed to hear again, and Sweet Caroline for me is the absolute number 1. There's nothing even close. I haven't gone to a Red Sox game at Fenway since seeing them the year of the chicken and beer and the crowd starting to sing Sweet Caroline even after Papelbon had won a game for them. So,
and that's why you haven't gone?
I was disgusted.
I have a hard time believing that you're that disgusted by Sweet Caroline that you have not gone to a Red Sox game in 14 years for that reason.
I respect the take, though. That's commitment. Commitment to the bid, at least.
You're in on it. In. All right, let's do an update. I see on the foot. We'll continue to take your thoughts on frontmen, maybe against my better judgment, Skaz, because I do feel like we were trending in a bad direction there. But I have faith in the people that they're going to bring us back. But the Red Sox have gone final, so I want to mix in some Sox thoughts with our Aussie and frontmen thoughts for the rest of the night. We'll get back to the Pats, too, if you want. It's McCarthy in for Joe on the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Well, Red Sox lose again. They have now dropped 4 of 5 coming out of the All-Star break, and this was predictable. This was pretty easy to see coming, especially in this series with the pitching disadvantage that the Red Sox have, which is what makes last night so frustrating, that they had an opportunity to win a game where Wheeler's going for Philadelphia and Buehler's going for the Red Sox, and the Sox can't find a way to pull that out. They have a catcher's interference, which they lose on. Then they have a catcher's interference and a balk on the same play on a straight steal home from Bryce Harper earlier tonight, which we will get into because I know Alex Cora was talking about it, maybe even complaining a little bit about it. I will read you the rule if I have to, Alex. I don't know why I keep having to do this every few weeks with the Red Sox where I keep needing to explain the rules of baseball, but the umpires got the call right tonight. They did, but I'm sure you won't be hearing that from Alex Cora and at least a few members of the Red Sox media who are carrying the water for the Red Sox, even in the face, in spite of the rules being obvious and clear, and any of us can just Google them. But we'll get into that a little bit later on when we have an opportunity to hear from the manager. But this was going to happen, and I am not pressing the panic button on this Red Sox team just yet. I am not. This is going to be a bumpy stretch for them. These 9 games against teams that are undeniably better than them will be difficult, and they have been difficult, and they're going to struggle, and it's not done yet because the Dodgers come to town this weekend. Tomorrow is the only night in this Phillies series where you have the pitching matchup advantage, and the Sox need a big night from Lucas Giolito. But tonight is another example of the Red Sox not being able to hit. 1 run tonight. Rob Refsnyder took Christopher Sanchez deep. That was it. That was the offense. Skaz, would you like the Red Sox runs per game on the road since trading Rafael Devers?
I know it's not good, please.
I am taking the National Series out of this because I just don't think it's fair to include that National Series with a bunch of Double-A pitchers pitching for Washington. Outside of the National Series, the Red Sox are averaging 2.7 runs per game on the road since trading Devers. It's not good enough.
Not good.
I've got some numbers on what they've done at home. What they've done at home since trading Devers. It's going to take me a minute to pull those up, so bear with me on that.
I got one for you.
Yep.
This is from Brian Barrett. Would you like to guess the Red Sox batting average since the All-Star break?
127.
194.
Yeah.
Not good.
They've got issues in this lineup, and it's going to show against good teams. You know, they can feast when they're at home, when Terry Francona is saying that Alex Cora is really good at picking up on stuff, and Chris Bassett saying that Alex Cora is really good at picking up on stuff. They're really good at home, and they're not so good on the road.
Matt, you're going to upset people.
I'm just saying the numbers are there. We will break down the numbers for you momentarily. It's not me saying it. It's Terry Francona coming to Boston and saying it. Well, you know, I have a lot of respect for Alex. He's really good at that. Chris Bassett. I have a lot of respect for Alex. He's really good at that. It's the same stuff. Tyler Anderson trying to get into a fight with Jose Flores at first base because something was going on. Now, I'm not saying, by the way, that any of that is illegal. I'm just wondering why the Red Sox hit way better at home than they do on the road. Because the numbers since Devers are astonishing. Astonishing. They're averaging, and let me find this here. Tell you what, I'll go to the phone calls. I'll find the numbers because I don't want to give out the wrong numbers. That would not be a big J journalist move of mine, Skaz. It would not. How about Justin and Lynn? Justin.
Hey, Matt, I just want to talk to you for a second. I'm concerned about how this Red Sox team is coming out of the break. I'm concerned about it every year because they seem to struggle coming right out of the break, and that is a concern to me. I know this is a tough stretch, but I'm just a little concerned. I was just want your thoughts.
You should be. You should be a little bit concerned, sort of. But this is who they are. They make dumb mistakes every night. They had more dumb mistakes tonight. Carlos Narvaez last night put his glove too close to the batter. So tonight he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to jump out in front of the batter, catch the ball before it reaches home plate, because that wasn't enough last night. I didn't get my glove too far enough out there last night. So what I need to do is get my glove in front of the plate tonight. That's a balk. Catcher's interference. You get home. It's amazing how dumb this team is. I found the numbers, Skaz. At home. And I'm removing the Rockies series from this equation as well, just because I don't want to judge the Red Sox on what they do against the Rockies and against the Nationals. So I'm taking that 6-game sample out. In the 10 games since Rafael Devers was traded at home, the Red Sox are averaging 5.4 runs per game. In the 14 games on the road since Devers was traded, they are averaging 2.7 runs per game. They are doubling their offensive output at home compared to on the road. There are multiple factors that go into that. You're actually facing good pitching here in Philadelphia. You face some good pitching in Chicago. I get that. I understand that. This year, the Red Sox are 32-20 at home. They are now 22-29 on the road. Can we start talking about this as to why this team is so much better, so much significantly, obviously, glaringly better at home than they are on the road? Huh.
I think Joe Melly would say it's a little smelly.
Smelly. I can't do it like Joe, but I'm going to try. Smelly.
Can I give you a Narvaez take that's very unfair to another member of the Red Sox?
Sure.
I blame Connor Wong for Narvaez's catcher interferences.
That's not fair. That's not unfair at all.
Because Carlos Narvaez is just playing way too much baseball. He's catching way too often. Like, Connor Wong has been nothing. He's been worse than nothing for this team. And so Narvaez is just playing way more than he should be, way more than he's used to. And look, is that an excuse? No, but I'm, in jest kind of giving him one because they don't have another option right now. And I think that's something that needs to be addressed.
It's a huge factor. I think it's totally fair. Connor Wong is as worthless gets. Not a front man, Skaz. Not a front man.
He's not even a backup singer at this point.
Let's bang through a few of your phone calls on that before we get to the catcher's interference tonight and what Alex Cora had to say. Drew in Situate. Drew? All right, no Drew. Mike in West Roxbury. Mike.
Hello.
Hello.
Good show, Matt. Appreciate it tonight. Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate you, Mike.
I was thinking about Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. But again, more in the solo artist realm. I mean,
after the All-Star break. But the band I wanted to say is Prince and the Revolution.
We literally just did that.
Who is Scott from Weymouth? I've heard of Scott and Rentham. Scott and Weymouth, though? I have no idea.
Ariel and Marion. Ariel.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
How you doing?
Good. Hey, I have Rob Halford from Judas Priest.
Yeah, was he a front man? Sure.
We're literally just naming front men now. Against my better judgment, I'm going to go to one more. Is it Dawia? Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, it's Ian. Oh, you got Dawia from.
Ian. Hold on.
Yeah,
real quick, Ian. Can we get intern Trey on the microphone here? Trey.
Trey said it sounded like Dawia to him.
Dawia? Dude.
At Boston University Education, I don't know.
Wow, what is going on over there at BU? Dawia? I get it. He's not even going to answer for it. You just shake your head and move on. That's a good move right there.
On to the next phone call.
Ian, right?
Hello, Ian, yes.
Yeah. Hi, Ian.
All right. Just wanted to mention a front man from the era of hair, Dee Snider of Twisted Sister.
As a top 5 front man of all time.
We've jumped. People are just, as you said, just naming frontman. It has jumped the shark from greatest to just, hey, do you know a frontman?
You ever heard of this guy? How about... I should have gone away from this about 15 calls ago. That's on me. I apologize. I apologize to the audience. I apologize. Skaz, I apologize to you. Trey, I apologize to you. He's back there taking these calls. Trey is the first person who hears from these people and must be just shaking his head. Like, what on God's green earth are we doing? That's why he's calling callers Dewey instead of Ian.
There's been a couple, I have no idea what this guy's talking about tonight from Trey, which very understandable.
Respect. That's frontline work back there, Trey. For those about to talk to the callers, we salute you. We do not salute the Red Sox. We'll do that next.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
Lucas Giolito on the mound for Boston tomorrow as they look to avoid a series sweep. Elsewhere, Rafael Devers making his first start tonight for the San Francisco Giants. Patriots starting training camp tomorrow. 12 hours from now, they'll be on the practice field. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs has been given the all-clear to practice with his teammates. Mike Vrabel noting today that Carlton Davis and Jelani Tavai will be at practice tomorrow. Both started the season on the physically unable to perform and non-football injury lists. Patriots also announcing they will wear throwback uniforms, the Pat Patriot Reds, Week 3 at home against Pittsburgh and Week 13 at home against the Giants. A couple of holdout situations going on around the NFL. Terry McLaurin did not report to camp. Trey Hendrickson did not report to camp for the Bengals. And Matt Stafford not practicing to start camp. He has back soreness. Headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit catcheslaw.com. I'm Matt McCarthy. I'm Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update in 30 minutes.
Here we go.
Boom. I win. Kaboom.
Yeah. Hit somebody.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
He's going to try to steal home the throw, and he is...
I think he called a balk.
I think he did call a balk. Wait a minute.
There's some strange stuff, man.
Wow, he would have been safe anyway.
Yeah.
I think he got under the tag anyway.
And there we have it. Just another really weird moment for the Boston Red Sox, because every night is weird. And it's why baseball's a great sport. It's Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray. A straight steal of home. What started out as a straight steal of home off a right-handed pitcher, not a left-handed pitcher, which, as Skaz pointed out tonight, how do you really let that happen? That's falling asleep at the wheel. Dick Fitz goes to the windup with Bryce Harper on third, and Bryce Harper, being the heads-up baseball player that he is, knowing the Red Sox are probably going to screw something up about it, knowing that they're not holding him on, knowing that they're not paying attention, steals home. Which I think, again, for my money, the straight steal of home is the most exciting play in all of sports. I love it. Love a straight steal of home. But it was more than that. Harper attempts to steal. Fitz pitches. The batter basically gets out of the box, gets out of the way. It's a left-handed hitter at the plate. It's a left-handed hitter. He sees Harper coming. He gets out of the way, totally clears the left-handed batter's box, and Carlos Narvaez, because he knows what he's doing behind the plate based on what we saw last night, obviously, moves in front of home plate, catches the ball, and attempts to tag Bryce Harper out. Harper was safe anyway. They didn't call him safe because he beat the throw. They called him safe because they called catcher's interference on Carlos Narvaez. Second straight night, in the 10th inning last night, catcher's interference on Carlos Narvaez, game over. First inning tonight, catcher's interference on Carlos Narvaez, run scores. Because, of course, the Red Sox have back-to-back catcher's interferences because they don't know what the F they're doing. That's plain, that's simple. It's a weird play. It's a freaky play. Cora comes out to argue. I will say this right now. I don't have the benefit. We don't have the sound on in here. I don't know the way it was explained on the field. I don't know the way it was explained on the NESN broadcast. But Cora goes out to argue right away, once again proving that Alex Cora probably does not know the rules. How many times this year does this happen? Infield fly, the Red Sox don't know the rules. Alex Cora has a hissy fit in Anaheim on obstruction at second base because Luis Rengifo puts his knee down in front of the bag 20 feet before Abraham Toro arrives at the bag. The play isn't close. It's not even relevant, and Cora gets ejected over that and has a meltdown over that because, again, he does not know the rules. Guys, do you mind, NESN is in there, you mind pausing NESN? Can you read me this statement on the official ruling by Crew Chief Quinn Walcott, because it's a little far away from me in here. Skaz, if you wouldn't mind reading this explanation from Quinn Walcott on why they called this catcher's interference.
Yes, we're really testing my contacts here, but Crew Chief Quinn Walcott to Alex Spear. He had Narvaez stepping on or above the plate before the pitch was received. Essentially, the purpose of the rule is to protect the hitter striking at the pitch, right? So he can't invade the hitter's space either. Even if he was to come around the plate, it would still be a violation.
Okay, so what this is coming down to
is McCarthy was right.
Is I was right. Thank you, Skaz. The rule is in place. If a runner steals home or there is a safety squeeze play at home, and I will read you the rule here from Chris Cotillo. Rule 601G of official baseball rules. If, with a runner on third base trying to score by means of a squeeze play or a steal, the catcher or any other fielder steps on or in front of home base without possession of the ball or touches the batter or his bat, the pitcher shall be charged with a balk and the batter shall be awarded first base on the interference and the ball is dead. I got this a little confused earlier. Harper gets home on the balk. The batter gets first base because the catcher is in front of home plate. Carlos Narvaez, clear as day, in receiving the pitch, not the throw, from Dick Fitz, moves in front of home plate, catches the ball, positions his body in front of home plate, his knee, his leg, is in front of the left-handed batter's box, catches the ball in front of home plate, and attempts to tag Harper out. The umpires got it totally right. And the Red Sox, because they don't know the rule, still are bitchy about it. Let's hear from the manager after the game.
What's the explanation on that play? Catcher's interference. In the beginning we thought he called blocking the plate. So then after that, they got together. They explained me what happened, and just weird, man. For like 2 nights in a row, it's stuff like I've never seen in my life, to be honest with you. And it is what it is. It's the rule. They check it with New York. They apply the rule, and we have to move on.
What was their explanation after they checked with New York?
That it was catcher's interference.
There's an automatic balk on that?
Automatic balk, and the runner advances.
Do you sense some tone from Alex Cora?
I like to think of the Sports Hub. We don't have a lot of specialties, but I do think we specialize in dissecting tone. Mm-hmm. I would dissect that tone as bitchy, irritated, frustrated. Whatever one you want to pick, there's some tone there.
This is a culture problem with the Red Sox. They don't know the rules, and this is not their most egregious violation of not understanding the rules this year. Cora goes out, so he thinks that they call. Now, in Cora's defense, I'm here in studio, I'm watching it live. I was thinking that they called blocking the plate too. So Cora's not wrong to say, hey, we thought they initially called that he was blocking home plate. Narvaez never blocked home plate. He moves into the left-handed batter's box because the batter gets out of the way, goes in front of home plate, puts his knee down in front of home plate. His right leg is in the upper left-hand corner of the left-handed hitter's batter's box. He receives the ball in front of home plate. That's a violation. That's a balk. Again, think about this, Skaz. If you catch the ball before it reaches home plate, what is it? Is it a ball or a strike? It's neither, because the ball needs to cross home plate.
There's no way to know.
It's why the rule exists. You can't catch. So therefore, it's a balk. The runner moves up, and Harper would have been safe anyway, but it's a balk. There's a culture problem surrounding the Red Sox on this, and it extends to the media. When Cora did his whole dog and pony show about the interference, obstruction. I should never call it interference. The obstruction in Anaheim. Lou Merloni went on a whole rant about how it was actually interference because Alex Cora thought it was interference. The thing is, it's not actually interference. It's obstruction. There's a difference in the rules. So the Red Sox don't even know the terminology. I guess Lou, the broadcast, didn't know the terminology. And they were wrong about that. But they still went on a rant about that, even though they didn't understand the rules. They don't understand how infield fly works, and they don't understand about how this works. Jared Carabas, who I love. I acknowledge my tribal chief. Posts a picture of Narvaez catching the ball in front of home plate and says, this was not catcher's interference. Bryce Harper was going to be safe anyway, so it doesn't matter. Other than Carlos Narvaez doesn't deserve to be slandered over this play. Jared, love you, mean it, really. It's a clear and obvious violation of the rules. Read the effing rule. Why do we need to defend Carlos Narvaez when he does something you're not allowed to do as a catcher? It is clear as day. Do I need to read Rule 6.01G to you again, Skaz? Not to you, Skaz. To Jared. Do I need to read Rule 6.01G to you, Jared? If, with a runner on third base and trying to score by means of a squeeze play or a steal, the catcher or any other fielder steps on or in front of home base without possession of the ball, the batter shall be awarded first base on the interference and the ball is dead. It is interference. It's interference as clear as day. It's the rule. Why do we need to defend Carlos Narvaez? Why do we need to defend the Red Sox? Why do we need to do that? That's carrying water for the team. I'm sorry, but the media coverage needs to be better on that. And Jared is better than that. I'm surprised. I'm surprised by this tweet. I'm surprised by this. Carabas knows the game. This is not a representation of who he is. I don't know if it's because Narvaez is on the podcast. I don't know what. But why do they keep doing this? Why do the Red Sox keep doing this? Why do their catchers not know the rules? Why do they lead the league in catchers' interferences? Why do they repeatedly have weird situations that come up where they look like a bunch of idiots because they don't know how the game is played and they don't know the rules of the game? Why does that keep happening? And why can't we call them out for that? Out on that. Out. Skaz, it looked like you were going to say something.
I know we don't have the audio. I've been looking for it, but I believe this is something that's reviewable as well.
It was reviewed.
And it was reviewed, and they said exactly like he can't catch the ball in front of the plate. It's that simple.
It's not that hard.
He caught the ball in front of the plate. End of discussion.
It's not even catching the ball in front of the plate. The catcher can't even move in front of the plate. Now, he catches it in front of the plate, too. Again, just think about this. Because it's a straight steal of home, it's not a regular fielder throwing to home. It's a pitch. That's why the batter is awarded first base in this scenario. It's not that hard to wrap our heads around. Yet the Red Sox feel as if they've been screwed in some way. And it was the same effing thing last night. Well, it wasn't a swing. It was a half swing. Should that really be catcher's interference? Maybe he did that on purpose. We had a caller earlier tonight say, well, that's a bad rule. What? They keep doing this. What? You lead the league in catcher's interference. You do that. I got a question for you on the other side. What the hell does Jason Varitek do? Can somebody explain this to me? I know a lot of Red Sox fans want this guy to be manager. I know Carlos Narvaez said he's the guy who's responsible for telling him whether to reach forward or not on these pitches. Should Jason Varitek have a job with this team? What? 617-779-0985. We continue. It's McCarthy in for Joe.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
non-swing.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. There is catcher's interference. Batters awarded first base.
This game is over. This game ends on catcher's interference. The run will score, and the Phillies win it on a walk-off of sorts on a review. Catcher's interference to push in the winning run.
Never seen it.
Wow.
On a non-swing, catcher interference, walk-off.
Ball game. Phillies win it 3-2 in 10 innings.
It's now 0-7 and extras on the road, and then the inability to score in the 10th created all of that. The whole inning bottom half would have been completely different if you had just put one run up, and of course Hicks too. Not really finding the zone. The first few hitters really caused it, but here's a check swing from Sosa. And he clips Narvaez's glove. It's going to go down as an E2. Error on Narvaez. And that's going to end here, game one in this series.
They are nothing if not entertaining. The Red Sox always finding new ways to lose, always finding new ways to break the rules and violate them, as they did tonight on yet another catcher's interference. Let's throw a balk in there, too, on the same play. And then you got that last night. But again, doesn't this speak to the overall level of bitchiness that exists with the Red Sox and the media that covers the Red Sox? Like, the whole thing last night is like, well, I mean, it is catcher's interference, but I mean, can it really be catcher's interference? I mean, it wasn't swinging that much, right? I mean, what did I get from Lou? What was the question from Lou?
The question is, can you have it on a non-swing?
Yes, Lou. Actually, you can. These are the rules of baseball. I don't know why I need to keep explaining the rules of baseball. Guys, why? Why do I need to keep coming in here and explaining the rules of baseball to the Red Sox and everybody in Red Sox land? Is it really that effing hard? Is it that hard?
The question is, can you have it on a non-swing?
Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm. If the bat hits the catcher because the catcher puts the glove out there, yes, that is catcher's interference. The same way that if your catcher moves in front of the plate and does not go directly over the plate, it is still catcher's interference because you are not allowed to move in front of the plate and catch the pitch before it arrives. It's clear as day. It says it in the rules. Why don't we You can go online. You don't even need to buy your hard copy. You don't need to spend $8.99 at Barnes & Noble to get your 2025 official baseball rules copy. As I did, actually, after the interference, after the obstruction incident we had in Anaheim. I did buy an updated copy just so I could have it, guys. You never know when you might need it. You never know when that thing might come in handy. I carry it with me everywhere I go. If you need somebody to break down Rule 601G, I'm your guy. Thank God you have me, Matt McCarthy, in for Joe Murray. Aren't you lucky? But why the Red Sox? Why does this keep happening? A little Nancy Kerrigan, why? Which actually, that kind of does sum up the way the Red Sox approach everything. Why? Why is Carlos Narvaez getting worse? You could say, and it's a good take, Skaz, that it's the number of games that he's playing.
It's Connor Wong's fault.
That it's Connor Wong's fault. I want to blame somebody else. I want to blame Jason Varitek. So what's happening is Narvaez came to the Red Sox from outside the organization, and he was an excellent defensive catcher. He comes here, and he's certainly shown that. At times, he's been really, really good behind the plate this year, but it's getting worse. Now, you could say that that's the workload because he's never been a full-time catcher anywhere. You could say that, again, it's Connor Wong's fault that you're asking this guy to do too much, and it's just simply he's breaking down and he's making more mistakes, more physical and mental mistakes. That's probably a big factor. We got to consider the Jason Varitek factor in all of this. Varitek is a key member of that Red Sox coaching staff. I believe his title, Skaz, is run prevention manager, run prevention strategist, game planning coordinator. We got a Google on that.
Jason Varitek, 15-year MLB career.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Would you like to guess how many times Jason Varitek was called for catcher's interference in his career?
Oh, that's a good one. Less than 5.
How about 5?
In 15 years. So
the Sox have 8 this season, I believe.
Mm-hmm. It's the way they're teaching these guys to catch. Maz was talking about this earlier. Catcher's interference is way up in baseball. I can believe it. I mean, basically, you're teaching these catchers to reach forward. You've got the one knee down, so catchers don't block the balls the way they used to. The art of catching is a dying art in baseball, and you've seen it the last 2 nights with the Red Sox. But why is Jason Varitek not fixing that? And it turns out he's not even fixing it. He's not trying to fix it. He's doing the exact opposite. Because Narvaez said Varitek is the guy who tells him with each hitter, basically they've got this scouted out. Well, this hitter has a long swing, so don't reach forward as much because you're more likely to have a catcher's interference. But the analytics and the data on this guy says his swing isn't as long, so you can afford to cheat, you can afford to reach up. And they keep getting it wrong. So I might recommend that they just stop that. And I don't know, just catch the ball. Just receive the ball. That might be my best piece of advice. But Narvaez is getting worse. And Varitek, as he told us last night, is a big part of the catching coaching in the organization because he's coaching him on that specific detail. It's time to acknowledge that Jason Varitek is not what you think he is. Can you find his title, Skaz? What is his title? He is the... Where can we find this somewhere? Post-playing career. So on the coaching staff, they don't list this. Varitek had a change in role.
Yes.
Varitek served as the game planning coordinator and catching coach last year. And now this year he is the game planning and run prevention coach after the Red Sox hired a Yankees catching instructor and bullpen catcher. So they took some of the responsibilities away from Jason Varitek in coaching these guys behind the plate. Now, apparently his responsibility still is to tell guys because he's run prevention coordinator. So there he's probably allowed to work with the catchers on reach with this guy because the data says this, the data says that. He got demoted, and now the Red Sox catchers are getting worse. We really should start talking about how he might not be manager material. That's all. I know that's probably not a popular take because I get a lot of calls. Everybody does. What about Jason Varitek as the next Red Sox manager? How about, until the run prevention coordinator figures out how to stop having all these catchers' interferences on the coaching staff, maybe I'd look at somebody else. Not that we have to worry about that because Alex Cora's job is safe. No matter whether he knows the rules, no matter whether the team is fundamentally sound or anything, his job is safe. Don't you worry about that. No problems for Alex Cora whatsoever. 617-779-0985. Let's go to Joe. How you doing, Joe?
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Oh, gosh. So let me take a look. I was calling about the whole music thing, but
yeah.
Go for it. I'm a little disappointed in how the Red Sox have started, and I don't even understand about the whole Jason Varitek thing, but I was saying Prince and the Revolution was going to be top notch.
Why did I do that, Skaz? It was a frontman call. I knew it was a frontman call. Once again.
Was that phone call from Maine by chance?
Yeah. Sounded like it. How many times tonight did we cover the criteria for the frontman discussion?
How many times did we say Prince? Not what we were looking for.
Many times.
Many times.
Many times.
Over under the amount of catcher interferences the Red Sox have had this season.
It really, it's the number of Prince calls we got after we explained why we were not talking about Prince in this context. We kept getting them. If you keep doing it over and over and over again, it is like the Red Sox. I am, Skaz, I'm not angry at the callers tonight, but I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. I expect more. From Joe's callers, I mean, generally the most fundamentally sound and sane callers of any of the programs. Wouldn't we all agree?
They get a long leash, I'll say that. They certainly get a longer leash at night than anywhere else, which can be for the best or can be for, what we've seen a mix-up tonight.
I wonder if it's a me problem, Skaz, because I don't have the long leash that Joe has. I'm kind of a quick trigger. I'm easily annoyed, offended, and pissed off by the stupidity of the callers.
I was going to say, stupidity bothers you.
There's nothing that offends me more than stupidity, which is why I get so worked up over the stupid rules of baseball, because it's not that hard. Like, show some semblance of intelligence, you morons. Read. Just read. Read. Can we read? Is reading cool? Can we do that? Read. The book, $8.99 at Barnes & Noble. It's not that hard. I will buy you a copy. 6.01G, Skaz. 6.01G.
I'm not going to forget it until tomorrow night, probably.
I'll hold you accountable to it. I'm back in on Friday, Skaz. You know what you and I are going to do during the Revs game on Friday? I'm going to bring in the rule book. I've got my highlighter. We're going to go through and we're going to highlight all the important and pertinent rules that the Red Sox have either effed up this year or definitely will continue to F up going forward.
I was always more of a flashcards guy, but I can get behind a highlighter. Why not?
I mean, you kidding me? In this studio? In a studio habitated, that's not even a word.
Littered with.
Yes, littered with. And where Mike Felger works, yes, we have highlighters. It's the easiest thing to find around here. There are plenty of things that we probably could use and don't have, but highlighters, we got those. You never know when a Wells report might come out. You never know when you might need a good highlighter.
Don't wish that on anybody, please.
I'm not. Skaz, I would happily wish the official baseball rules on all of you. I would never, ever wish the Wells report or the Wells report in context on any of you ever again. No more legal briefs, none of that. No more court documents, no more dockets, no more amicus briefs, no more evidentiary findings, no more discovery. My brother's a lawyer. I don't know. I'm just lawyered. Yeah, none of that. I wish none of that on you. But I wish reading comprehension on you. I hope you get it someday. Red Sox fans and media who just... It hurts me. What more can I say? It hurts me. It offends me. 617-779-0985. Tell you what, before we hit the break, JP.
Matt McCarthy, these callers do not know you are the man that single-handedly defeated Tim McCone and won a position at this station. Do they not know this? I am all aboard. You went to Barnes & Noble. You got the book. You're carrying the book. You know the rules. I've only have one question, Matt. Are we going to hit our over 84 bet or not?
You're going to hit it. It's going to be a rough stretch here for the Red Sox. You're going to doubt it, but they're going to win 87 games and go to the playoffs. Yes, you will hit the over bet on the Red Sox this year. Because as dumb and as stupid as they are, and they showed it again tonight, the American League still blows. It still blows. We continue. Skaz has a game for me that I'm very much looking forward to. We'll do that next.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox lost to the Phillies 4-1 tonight. Kyle Schwarber homering, Bryce Harper stealing home, or at least tried.
a little bit unique, but I think it checks the box in terms of a front man.
Okay.
Bon Scott was the front man for AC/DC, died, was replaced by Angus Young, both tremendous front men in a great band, but that most people can't name another member of the band.
Isn't Angus Young the guitarist?
But he's also the singer.
Isn't Brian Johnson the singer of AC/DC? I just saw AC/DC. No, Brian Johnson's the singer of AC/DC. Co-founder, lead guitarist, songwriter. Gonna tell you, Skaz, that AC/DC show, tough take. Tough. Not what you're looking for. These guys have seen better days. Brian Johnson has seen better days. I think that the best way to describe... First song, not too bad. Like, okay, this is good. Second song, I will never forget the look on Beatles' face. He looked over at me with a look of, oh boy. A cross between oh boy and horror. The only way to describe it is it's your reaction when you hear Carl Lewis sing the national anthem. Like there's a stay with me now moment, and I did not stay with them now. It was a... Back in Black was rough. Thunderstruck was very slow. It actually sounded like me playing Thunderstruck, trying to play it slowly because I can't, because you got to slow it down. Very geriatric. Not what you're looking for. Hey, speaking of old, Rich Hill returned to the big leagues tonight. It's his 14th team. Ties the big league record. 14 teams the man has pitched for. 45-year-old Rich Hill pitching for the Kansas City Royals tonight. The pride of Milton, Mass. Skaz, you have something you want to test me on, apparently.
Yes, we have a little Rich Hill trivia. As you mentioned, good friend, Rich Hill, taking the bump earlier tonight. Rich Hill made his pitching debut as a relief pitcher June 15th, 2005. Would you like to guess the Chicago Cubs lineup on June 15th, 2005?
Dude, I am screwed with that. That's rough. I'll give you one. No, Soriano wouldn't have even been there yet. I was going to give you Soriano.
There are some names you should know in this starting lineup. I will say that.
Should I know them because they played for the Cubs? I mean, Sammy Sosa would have been gone by then.
Sammy Sosa is gone. The first baseman probably had better years elsewhere, but he was a good Cubs first baseman.
Wasn't Mark Grace, was it?
It was not Mark Grace.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. 2005 Chicago Cubs there were not many guys on the 2005 Chicago Cubs.
He played for Florida for a while beforehand.
Oh, was it Jeff Conine?
No.
This is not going great. Skaz was expecting me to do better than this. Not going great. Not Jeff Conine.
He had 331 homers in his career. 281 batting average. 6'5", 240.
That's a first baseman. That ain't no Masataka Yoshida out there taking ground balls at 5'8". That's a first baseman. Not Mark Grace. Not Jeff Conine. First baseman who played for the Marlins?
Yes.
Out. You got to give me something.
Derek
Lee. Derek Lee. Ooh. He was an all-star at that point for the Cubs. A catcher. Let's go Todd Hundley.
The catcher on that day was not Todd Hundley.
Joe Girardi.
Not Joe Girardi either.
Dude, I'm telling
this
you.
is ugly. This is ugly, folks.
I'm naming the 1998 Chicago Cubs is what I'm doing right here.
Yes. I will. I'll give you a couple. Let's see if you can maybe fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Your second baseman,
Tony Graffinino.
Tony Graffinino. No.
Mark Grudzelanek.
No. Nope.
This is a rough performance here. Rough look for Mr.
How about
Baseball.
Todd Walker at second base?
Todd Walker. I don't remember him playing for the Cubs. So he went to the Cubs after he signed with the Red Sox. I should have gotten that. Shame on me. Shortstop Alex Gonzalez. No?
Shortstop. not Alex Gonzalez. A gentleman I've never really heard of, Naifi Perez.
Naifi Perez.
Okay.
Yep. Third baseman. See, now I need to get in like the 03 Cubs mindset. Moises Alou is gone at this point, right?
Yes, this gentleman played quite 8 years for the Cubs. Was at Pittsburgh before and went to Milwaukee afterwards.
NL Central bullcrap, I'll tell you what.
386 home runs in his career.
Jason Kendall. Was he didn't he play for the Cubs?
Not in 2005. Aramis Ramirez.
Aramis Ramirez. Boy, those Cubs teams. How did they make the NLCS in 2003? This is 2 years after. Aramis Ramirez is the third baseman. Derek Lee was the first baseman. This is MVP Baseball 2004-5 era. I should have gotten both of those. That's bad on me, Skaz. Bad look. So Naifi Perez at short, Todd Walker at second, not Joe Girardi catching.
No,
Outfield.
the catcher. Yeah, right field, I feel like you should know. A man that is still referenced off and on to this day. Couldn't tell you why. 14-year career. Milwaukee, Mets, Cleveland, Chicago, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Dodgers, bounced all around.
Can you give me those teams again?
All right, in order: Mets,
Yep.
Cleveland, Milwaukee, Mets, Dodgers, Rockies, Cubs, Pirates.
It's not Benny Agbayani.
From 93 to 2006.
I got nothing for you, Skaz.
Jeremy
Burnitz. He ended up in Chicago. Now, when I think Jeremy Burnitz, I think 1999 All-Star game was in the home run derby against Ken Griffey Jr. in the 1999 All-Star game, was in the final. McGuire didn't make it. It was Griffey versus Burnitz. What a bum. Jeremy Burnitz.
In center field, someone named Corey Patterson.
I vaguely remember that name.
Left field was Todd Hollinsworth, whoever that is.
Todd
Catching,
Hollinsworth, yep.
Michael Barrett.
Mikey Barrett. Boy, that team sucked. Not going to lie.
That team did suck. I believe
Who started the game?
Greg Maddux, I believe, started
in
that
his
game.
second stint back in Chicago. See, I would have guessed Carlos Zambrano. I would have given you a little bit more on the pitching staff, but those Cubs lineups were not good.
The man that pitched the ninth inning in that game,
Kerry Wood,
became a Red Sox later in his career, and then may have returned to the Cubs. I'm not sure.
Ninth inning wasn't Gagne. Gagne was in L.A. Became a Red Sox. This is one I'm gonna. When did he play for the Red Sox?
He was on the 2013 Red Sox.
Craig Breslow.
Him and A-Rod had a little tiff.
Oh, Ryan Dempster.
Ryan Dempster pitched the ninth inning of that game.
Dempster was a closer at that point. Yeah, he bounced back and forth. There we go, Skaz. That was a pathetic showing for me.
And then this is just real baseball. I feel like you'll enjoy this, but I saw this tweet as well. Rich Hill faced Jamie Moyer.
Mm-hmm.
Moyer faced Steve Carlton. Carlton pitched in the same game as Warren Spahn. Spahn faced Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige was a teammate of Bill Gatewood, who was born in 1881. There's 6 degrees of Rich Hill right there.
14 teams, man. 14 teams. How many? Pull up the list real quick. Let's see how many I could name. When you have the list, let me know. I mean, you basically...
I have the list.
Okay. Red Sox.
Correct.
Cubs,
yep.
A's.
Yep.
Yankees.
Yep.
Royals. Padres. Dodgers. Pittsburgh.
Yep.
The Twins.
Yes.
Oh! What am I missing? The Diamondbacks.
No Diamondbacks.
Oh!
Did you say the Padres?
I did say the Padres. Done pretty good.
I'll do it real quick. The Royals.
Baltimore.
The Royals.
I got the Royals. Baltimore on the list?
Baltimore is on the list. 2009.
That was the one I was missing. You should have asked me that. It would have been a better look. I'm Matt McCarthy. Joe Murray's back tomorrow. See ya.
anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Do you suffer from projectile dysfunction? That's when there's something stuck in your drains and pipes